I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because he helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho.
It's
Yes.
the old
He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Gilligan get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Yeah. Got them lions in the building. Yeah. Why you lying to the children? Yeah. Why you lying to the children? Yeah. RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been to bed. Man, they know they no contest. Yahuwah, he do the bled. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to Thought. All the sons and all the daughters. Standing hard with big manodas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, will not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he forest. He running to the hills like a Philistine. Jihad hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the bait lead. Yeah, I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother. Ballin' and crawling all the way from H-Time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Michael got the Rorschach and Willie. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, arms open wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, yeah. Death by cop, black suicide. Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Yeah. Why you lying to them children? Yeah. RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I been to bed. Yeah. Man, they know they no contest. Yeah. Yahuwah, he do the bled. Wow, what's that? Why I didn't take it over? Number one debate league, you heard me? When it's up, it's stuck. I'm stepping on everything, nigga. Metaphorically, of course.
Hi, everybody doing tonight? We got a good one for you tonight from our brother Yah. Topic for tonight is the Bible good for Black liberation? Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this discussion. Please hit the like if you like the information that's presented for tonight. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, do so and share. And if you want to participate in this conversation, hit the link if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you for allowing me to speak from this platform. And I just pray that I can bring something beneficial to the present audience or to the listening audience that may come at a later date. Once again, thank you, Karima and Brother JJ, for establishing a outlet so that we can begin the process of disseminating information. And I'm hoping that this information will start a process of building unity so that we can come together and bring about change for people who really need change. The topic is the Bible good for Black liberation? Now, for me, I'm always better at counterpunching And so what I'll have to do is create the counterpunch that I'll have to punch back to. Because if you look at the Bible as it is presently presented, and if I'm looking at it from the position as I once looked at it, you look at the condition of black people and you look at the Bible and you say, how in the hell can that book do something in terms of elevating us out of the condition that we're in when the book has been here and it has not done it yet? That is a legitimate argument. So I say this, I believe it's the responsibility of every race of people to solve their problem. And so with me looking at the Bible, I'm able to now look at the Bible and see certain things in the Bible that I believe would be beneficial for the liberation of black people. But I believe the Bible is like a time release capsule. You know what a time release capsule works? It has a medicine in it, but that medicine is designed to release itself at a particular time. So the Bible, as it came down through time, I think the Bible had an assignment then. That assignment was to keep the people at a certain level of comfort, at a certain level of endurance and patience. But I believe at the end of a cycle, there will be new people who would take the same book and open up new understanding out of the book. And as that new understanding and new energy is opened up and is understood, it in turn would create a new people. So me being Brother Yah, Brother Daryl, I started a little small organization called the Black New Age Christians. And the Black New Age Christians was designed because the Bible was our book of choice. And black meaning not just black in terms of color, we understood black to have qualities. So we took black as an acronym. Black, bringing light and correct knowledge, BLACK, bringing light and correct knowledge. New age, meaning that our ancestors or my grandmothers and our great grandmother, they understood those words from a particular place. That particular place gave them comfort and endurance. I believe that the generation that is here now are designed to look at the same book and not about comfort and endurance, but now about empowerment. So how does that work? If I were to give you just say an insect and you looked at that insect from the surface, there's so much you can see. But I give you that same insect and then give you a magnifying glass. Then you begin to see things that were there the whole time, but now you're able to see what's called small, intricate details. And the more information that you have on something, the better you can prepare for it. So now, but still, how is the Bible a book for Black liberation? The Bible tells us about our history, but I'm not going to talk about our history from the traditional sense, because once again, as a Black New Age Christian, we're not bound by traditional understanding. As I say, my mother and my grandmother's generation, that was the generation of hope. We are the generation of fulfillment, meaning that they gave us a book, once again, but we will open the book and bring out new levels of energy. Just like if you look at what's called elements in creation. Hydrogen, for example. Hydrogen is an element that you can see on the surface. But if you release the energy in hydrogen, which is called nuclear fission. So you got an element just sitting there, but you don't know the tremendous amount of energy in that element unless you understand something about science. And if you open up that hydrogen atom, you release a tremendous amount of energy. That's how they made the hydrogen bomb. Now, here's the thing. All things are not what's called fissionable. So you may take an element called lithium, and it does not fit into what's called the fission process. Now, let me explain. I don't want to go too far. But I took a physics class, and by me taking physics, I began to see in physics certain laws in physics that were then in the Bible, but now, like I say, now looking at it through the lens of a microscope. Let me give you an example. Albert Einstein is accredited with E equals mc squared. He's saying energy on this side is equal to matter times the speed of light times the speed of light. I mean, these are the same things, but this one here has, this one in this state of existence has to go through a process before it comes this tremendous amount of energy that it is. So it can, that's what's called phases of existence. A more simpler example would be steam and water or ice. Steam and ice. Steam is this intersection of steam. The molecules are moving a lot quicker, but have a different amount of energy. In ice, it is slowed down some, and as it slowed down in this solid form, the molecules are more compact, same thing, but one has a different level of energy than the other. That's the same way the Bible is written, but it's going to take new teachers stepping outside of what's called the traditional understanding and now bringing out the energy in the Bible. And when that energy is broke out in the people, it's designed to have a reaction on the people to make themselves release a new form of energy. Black people, once again, this was to only happen at the fullness of a cycle. So, and that's what I'm saying. So as Black people look back at the Bible and look at how it made people docile, made people sit back and wait, made people believe that they needed something to come from up there to save them. All of that was to have a season, meaning that the Bible, the power side of the Bible was to be arrested, but we wrote it that way. We wrote it that way so another weaker people could rule. So the Bible says that the only way that you can take over a strong man's house, you had to bind that strong man. So once again, due to what's called the sacrifice of Black people, we arrested our powers so that other groups of people could have their light in the sun. And if the Bible tells you there'll be a time period when Satan would rule, the only way Satan could rule is Black people's power is arrested. There's no way nobody could rule us if we were in our fully divine, brilliant state. So we dialed back what we were once again so another people could rule. But then we said something what's called at the return of Christ. Now, that goes into another level of subject. But at the return of truth, at the return of truth, that truth will begin to have a impact on us. It will begin to awaken certain things in us that are dormant. We got certain genes in us that are dormant. And it was to be that way into what's called, once again, the fullness of the time. So we'll say a time release capsule. And at the time, well, we're at that time now for the time for the energy to be released out of the capsule. Let me give you an example of what I mean out of the capsule. He who gives the narrative orchestrates the perception. Let me say that again. Whoever gives the narrative orchestrates the perception. Right now, the Bible as we have it, we have a European understanding on the Bible. And then some of us have broke away from a European understanding and we're becoming more, we're using the Bible more for impact, and not impact, but what am I looking for? Empowerment. But still, there is a measure of the empowerment missing. Jesus said this. The lady came to the well one day with Jesus and asked him for a drink. And Jesus said, in essence, I'm not going to go through it. Jesus said that if you drink this water that I'm going to give you, you'll never thirst again. It's certain truths in the Bible that when these truths are really made known, you're not going to ever be thirsty for that truth again. Let me just kind of go straight into what I'm kind of talking about. The Bible the beginning of the Bible is the book of Genesis. And in the book of Genesis, we read where God is creating creation. It said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved on the face of the water. And God said, let there be light. And there was a light. So then it says that God then separated the light from the darkness. Now we see that on the surface. As the Black New Age Christians, we believe that that act of God doing that was God operating in people. I'm pausing right there purposely. We believe that the entire book of Genesis was done by people who had the Spirit of God in them. And as the Spirit of God was in them, they then created creation. Now, let us reason together so we can see if that is actually the truth. And these people were Black people. See, what we're going to do today is find out why we are Black and what our real potential is. Because there's two types of energy, kinetic energy, potential energy. Now, what I just said, you say, what the hell are you talking about? Black people created the book, everything in the book of Genesis. So when you read the book of Genesis, everywhere you say God said, you replace that with Black people said. But we're going to show you how that's possible. It may not seem possible, but 30 years ago, but you got scientists right now that can make sheep. You got scientists right now that can make trees. You got scientists right now that can, China has made an artificial sun. So everything that you see in the book of Genesis is within the capability of a human being. Let's just do some deductive reasoning. Here's a God that can do anything. You think it's really a God gets a benefit out of making a planet? You think God gets a benefit of making an animal? You think God gets a benefit out of making grass and wells and water? What God gets benefit is by stepping into a form and allow his Spirit to move through that form and allow that form to cause creation to come into existence. That's the reason we're so in love with the Bible. If I were to take Jesus, for example, Yahshua the Hebrew Messiah, and take him back to the book of Genesis and show him the book of Genesis, and I say, well, Jesus, it said, in the beginning, God did this. Well, where were you at, Jesus? Jesus said, I was in the Father and with the Father. So Jesus had a different mindset in him. He knew that when he looked at creation, he understood that that was the thing that he himself participated in. Because once again, no God really gets any satisfaction by you talking about hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. He gets satisfaction by you imitating him. So that's when the Bible will be a book of liberation, because we have to get a new mind in us. Because the greatest weapon we have is our imagination. And whoever connects your mind to the highest level of imagination of creation, that's how you get liberated. Right now, we live in a technologically advanced world where white people make automobiles, they make rockets, they make, what else do they make? They make popsicles, ice cream. They make all these things right here. They make this technology, how we're communicating right now. This is done through laws, but it's not anything that we did not do when we were in our divine state. Let me show you. Let me just kind of, if I want to jump in here, that's fine too. This black skin that we have, this blackness throughout the universe is a form of energy. Let me deal with science first. Let me deal with science. While we must choose science, we must choose religion over science. There's nothing wrong with science, but there's certain aspects of science that tries to arrest the development, especially of black people, because they're in denial about certain things. So what does that mean? Science talks about a big bang. The Bible talks about a word being spoken. So if you really look at the Big Bang and a word being spoken, they're saying the same thing. But I'm going to tell you why science has to also hide certain information. Because if you have a Big Bang, that means you have a sound. If you have a sound, then you had the light that created the sound. The Bible says the same thing. There was a light, which is the source, and it made a sound. Then creation started unfolding. But science does. Science then comes along and starts saying now what unfolds is a perfect accident. So when you start saying I'm with the Big Bang, and you start saying things like, okay, the Big Bang did this, and then this thing here unfolded, it was an accident, then this thing unfolded. Now here's this accident. These accidents are unfolding, but they have laws governing them. Subatomic particles sticking together. Electron, proton, all of these laws are just accidentally sticking together. No, this was this black energy now crystallizing itself in this form. And as we now become one with the form, E equals MC squared, we're able to hear. Because that's what it meant to be a son of God. You could hear the light and then utter the corresponding sound. So if the word for tree was gooly gooly, you had to hear it first. Then once you heard it, then you brought it into existence. So black people don't know their history. So when you start asking black people to repeat their history, we'll go through things like, well, the black man created the shoelaces, we created the traffic light, we created heart surgery, we created plasma, and that's okay. But when you have that kind of history, that makes you into a man. You need the kind of history that's going to make you into a God. That history means that you now know that you created the trees. You know that you created what's called in science the weak and the strong force, magnetism, energy, the sun, moon, star. This was in your capability to do. Why? Because people are doing it now. They're making sheep. They're not creating sheep because they don't know how to create the electron and the proton. They don't know how to do that, but we knew how to do that. Because once again, this black skin was a perfect absorber of what's called this radiant black energy. And the two are one. So once again, so when Jesus said, me and my Father one, he understood that I now put myself in a position to receive from the source. And as I receive from the source, then I can operate just like the source. In science, it's known as perfect absorption. And anything that can absorb perfectly can reflect perfectly. This is the kind of information that we have to come into now. And like I say, and by black people knowing that they are the first people, because the black energy, which is us, we really created ourselves. But we just don't remember that. And there will be a time period that would come. Would have come back to our memory. So that is why I'm saying we just have to have a deeper understanding of the Bible and understand certain things about science that we now begin to disseminate on the people. And when that energy is broke out of people, and you really get that down in your soul, it's going to be a change. There's a turn. Now, first of all, we understand the nature of our problem. Now, what I'm saying may not resonate with everybody, because in physics, there are certain elements called plutonium, uranium, and then you have what's called the isotopes, meaning that plutonium can exist in this form, it can exist in that form, uranium can exist this way, uranium can exist that way. But what happens, some of them are fusionable. What does that mean? That when it comes into contact, and if you just look into science, it comes into contact with what's called a neutron. The neutron knocks something out of the core. And as that neutron knocks something out of the core, it develops this tremendous amount of energy. So what I'm saying is that the words that I'm speaking, it's not going to resonate with everybody. Some people, it's going to ignite a core something in you. And you'll never be the same again if you really can absorb the truth. Because once again, what I'm telling you is that you are the reflection of God in this crystallized form. But we knew that at the end of a cycle, then a certain truth, that's what the return of Christ is. Coming back in the cloud, you know how they keep data in the clouds? Right now, you store data in the cloud. It's divine intelligence in the clouds. But you have to become what's known as a son of God so that you can hear. And as you hear, become a perfect hearer of the light, then you'll be doing what we used to do in the beginning. Let me go briefly into a son of God. If you look at the etymology of the word son, well, that's the thing about words that come from a word can have several different meanings, even on the etymological stage. Etymological means that where did it come from? The best definition I found for son, as it is applicable to the Bible, was the word sown, S-O-N-E. And the word sound is 40 decibels above the normal threshold of hearing. And what does that mean? And say, I can hear at a certain range. But if I hear higher, I hear at higher ranges. Light has a particular sound. But once you become a son of God, then you can hear light. Just like if you needed to have a cure for the coronavirus, you think a cure is not here? It's just no sun's here. When you become a son, you hear at the highest level. That's when I say son, once again, come from this Middle English word sown, S-O-N-E, which is 40 decibels above the normal threshold of hearing. So when you were a son of God, you heard on high. Like the preachers would later say, well, the Lord called me to preach. You know, they're saying I'm hearing something that nobody else heard. But you have antennas. That's what I'm saying. Everything that you see with them doing with technology, understand that this is what black people did spiritually. TVs, radio, because it's certain levels in the heavens, the troposphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere. These are certain levels that's got information. And to the degree of what type of antenna you are and what made you a particular type of antenna is you backing away from sin. Every time you get away from sin, you become a more in tune antenna where you can go into the higher realms and hear information that others just don't hear. That's when the Bible is about black revelation. That's when we should get the book and understand how it will liberate us. Because why? It gives us the greatest extension first of our imagination. And the most powerful weapon we have is our imagination. But what it is, our imagination has been arrested. So when we read the Bible, we start identifying with creation. You got to start identifying with the Creator. And once again, that's when we so in love with this man named Jesus. Because Jesus come to tell you, I'm the Father in the flesh. But then he gives you a pathway for you to be the Father in the flesh. He said, just receive me. You receive me, and then I'm going to make you into what I am. Once I make you into what I am, then you make the declaration that you said, let there be light. Why? Because you becoming one with him. But that's the type of understanding that had to be arrested into what's called the end of a cycle. So if you would have asked Jesus, well, Jesus, did you make the trees? He said, yeah, I made the trees. Jesus, did you make the water? Did you divide the heavens from the earth? Did you create light? Did you create the darkness? Jesus understood that he did that. But he then understand, I now need to share the power with you so that you can be empowered like I'm being empowered. Now, I'm going to show you something. What made Jesus a brilliant kind of teacher. He chose 12 disciples to really impart into them his spirit. He knew that he needed to go away, but he knew that his spirit, just like a sail, he had to get a sail of light in them, and he needed that sail to grow. So now, as he now gets in them, he gets in them, not for them to follow him, but for them now to duplicate the work that he was doing. So let me give you an example. Jesus, according to the story, he comes down to the disciples, know that they're not ready yet. Then they follow him long enough to start at least getting a glimpse as to who he is. And the Bible says then he goes to the grave. Then he gets up out of the grave. Now, these are stories that's got a lot of different layers of meaning to them. Remember I say, looking at them under a microscope, you're going to see things that you didn't see. So Jesus gets his disciples, goes to the grave, then comes out of the grave. I need you to really think about what he was doing right here. As he comes out of the grave, and the disciples now see what type of power he has. Here's a man that now, according to the story, has overcome the most powerful thing that we know about, which is death. The disciples now ready to throw it all in. Man, we know that you the Christ now. For you to do that, you got to be the Son of God. For you to get up from death, man, you unshowed the highest level of power that we've seen. But you know what Jesus does at this point? He said, I'm going to leave you. I need you to really think about that. Because any leader that's really trying to empower you, once he's shown you his power, he then needs you to understand your power. So Jesus said, I know that if I stay amongst you, that as soon as a man dies, you're going to be saying, let's go get Jesus. Soon as somebody needs their eyesight healed, you're going to say, let's go get Jesus. Soon as there are 5,000 people that need to be fed and there are only 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, let's go get Jesus. You understand that now you're ready to become totally dependent on him. But that's not his objective. His objective is to make you into what he was. And any leader that really is trying to lead you, not trying to get you to sit in his shadows, he's trying to get you to be what he was, because God wanted Jesus to be what he was. So when God said, let me make a man after my image and likeness, I'm not trying to make you a slave. I don't need worship. That's not going to do anything for me. I'm going to be complete like I am. I need you to reflect me. So Jesus tells his disciples, I'm going away. But he also had to have them somewhat connected to him, because they're not strong yet. But if that person is not there for them to call on because they got a sick man, they're going to try to do it themselves. So now when they run across a situation, he leaves them with a bridge. He said, I'm up there with the Father. A lot of symbolism in that. We'll get into it later. I'm up there with the Father. But I just need you to believe that you're going to be empowered. So now all of a sudden the disciples, because they don't have Jesus as the crutch, because that was the objective, that's the plan. Once again, any leader that's really trying to empower you don't want you sitting in his shadow. God didn't want humanity sitting in his shadow. He wanted humanity to reflect what he was. That's once again, that's what makes us the Black New Age, because we're bringing this level of understanding. You're not to be in the shadow of anybody but God. You will reflect God. But some people need worship. I understand where they are. And we'll deal with that a later day. Damn, okay. Now, once again, why is the Bible a book of Black liberation? Because it can put this mind in us. And if 6 people start thinking like I'm thinking, this is how a cell works. When you create that first cell, it has to divide and join with another cell. And that next cell jump with another cell. And before you know it, it has made an organ in the body. Then an organ makes another organ. Before you know it has made what's called the body of Christ. And when you have enough people collectively thinking like this world will change. That's what they did not want. But this is what also we understood, that there will be a new understanding unfolding in the world at what's called the fullness of time. Man, how much? Okay. I probably need, I don't know. Is anybody out there? Okay, let's see where we are. Okay.
You say what?
No, I'm preaching. I'm going to take
you is.
Take up tithes and offering in just a minute. Well, classical condition. First of all, we have to understand, I'm going to talk about what's called the nature of the problem. Have y'all ever heard of a term called classical conditioning? Classical conditioning works like this. There's a guy named Alvin Pavlov. But this is, see, before we can really come into what I just talked about, we have to come into unity. But we can't come into unity because of what's called classical conditioning. There's a scientist named Alvin Pavlov, and what he was doing, he was conditioning well, he noticed first that they had some dogs, and whenever the assistant would come in, the dog would start wagging their tail and start salivating or drooling because they knew it was time to eat. That's called classical conditioning. So what he started doing, he started studying. Once he recognized that when the dogs saw the assistant once again, they started drooling, salivating, getting that salivary gland, knowing it's time to eat. So what Pavlov did, he took a bell. Nothing associate a bell with food. But every time he gave the dog some food, he rang the bell. Get the dog some food, rang the bell. Get the dog some food, rang the bell. So now once he conditioned the dog that when they hear the bell, they start salivating. One has nothing to do with the other. But that's what's called classical condition, or linking one thing to another thing. So now, why am I bringing up classical condition? Because Black people, we have been classically conditioned to see Black a certain way, whether we know it or not. And this is how our power is arrested, because when we see Black, whether you know it or not, everything that the culture has told us negative about Black, that's in your mind. That's classical conditioning. It's nothing also known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, where language, I can say a word to you. If I were to say the word apple to you, apple, apple. See, you can link one thing with another. If I say apple, how many of you thought about a hamburger? If I say Cadillac, how many of you thought about a grape? See, I can make a sound, and the sound can create the image in your word. So in what's called classical condition, this world says Black, and whether you know it at the speed of light, everything that this culture has taught you about Black goes through your mind like that. Why am I saying that? Because the basis of all power is unity, but you can't unify with something that you believe to be negative. So now, once we understand that we've been classically conditioned for disunity, we have to understand that there is a healing for that. That's when we have the channel called, you see that channel, yeah, SBTG, See Black, Thank God. That's how you undo the classical condition. And what I do is I point out on how, first of all, the classical condition is what, because you can classically condition anybody with anything. Let me see, what was another term they classically did? But just look up classical conditioning. Once you look at classical condition, then that'll take you into what's called neuro-linguistic programming, linguistic relativity, meaning a sound can be made and you make the sound connection with, you can make the sound connection with reality. That's linguistic relativity. Neuro-linguistic program. So your symbol, when you see a symbol, you have a connection. Just like if I show you a fist balled up, that's not a fist balled up. That sends a something towards you and can make you have a neurological reaction. They can show you certain colors and make you have a neurological reaction. Classical conditioning. Now, the reason I'm saying that, because if we're going to use, I hope this is all tied to the Black liberation. It is, because our problem is spiritual. Our problem is spiritual, and the Bible is a spiritual book. And because the book talks about, we didn't get into that, but we will a little later. The book talks about the Blackness of God. And what we need repaired more than anything is our self-worth and our self-value. Let me say it once again. The book talks about the Blackness of God. That comes, we're not going to be able to get all that out, but that is in the book. That's what makes it a book of revelation. That's what makes it a book of liberation, because once again, in the book of Genesis, everywhere you read God said, replace that with Black people said. That's your true history. That's the history that was to be hidden into what's called the end of a cycle at the end of time. So when you read and God said, let there be trees, and God said he divided the water, say Black people said, because that is within the range of this body. And when this body is operating like that, that's not a man. That's a God. Based on what you allow to come through you. And this body is a perfect receiver of light. Let me show you what I mean. If I had a black t-shirt on and it was summertime, and you had a white t-shirt on and it was summertime, which shirt would be the harder of the two? The black shirt. Because you know for black holds heat, black absorbs light. It's a perfect absorber of light. God is light. And because God being light, God in the total essence of what God is light. So this suit right here was designed to absorb the light and then bring creation into existence. That's what makes the Bible a book of liberation, because we don't know that understanding is there, and that understanding was to be arrested into what's called the end of a cycle. So in the book of Genesis, that's your true history. So when they ask you, well, what did black people create? You say, damn it, we created the trees. When you start talking about going back where? We created the damn planet. When they start talking about, well, where you from? You don't say you from Africa. You tell them you created Africa. You created the whole damn planet. You created this Milky Way galaxy. So they can't tell you to go back nowhere. And when that's coursing it through your imagination, that's black liberation. You begin to understand who you really are. Let me say that again. When they see, that's one of the ways that they trick you. They get you to relate to a landmass. You start saying, well, I'm from Egypt, I'm from England, I'm from Africa. How'd you get there? How'd you get in England? How'd you get in Africa? Because when you absorb that understanding from science, eventually you believe that you evolved from a monkey. See, subtly, whether you know it or not, I'm telling you that this black energy throughout the universe slowed the vibration down and created us. That's where we come from. No other people can say that. So that's when they go with the landmass stuff. They want to tell you, oh, yeah, I'm from China. Because they don't want to say they came from you. And it's not just they don't want to say they came from you. They also know that there were two fathers. So if I can claim that I came from China, if I can claim I came from Germany, I came from Switzerland, I came from Africa, you really know where I didn't come from. See, Jesus gave them two places to come from. You either came from the light or you came from the dark. And when you say, I know you're of your father, the devil, because as long as somebody's hiding behind a landmass, you'll never really know who they are. So you got to be able to snatch that from under them. Wait a minute, well, who is your father? And if God is your father, you're going to love me. Because I proceeded forth from God. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about black liberation right here. Getting your imagination to the full extent till you understand that you have the capacity to be the source. That's what you were in the beginning. And that's reason there's such a love of Jesus, because even though we don't have the deeper understanding, Jesus knew that he was the source in the flesh. So he said, now I'm going to give you a way to become that too. Let me get inside of you and you become that. And if you become that, then you can create creation like you did in the beginning. But it's a process of letting it absorb in you and getting you deep enough. And then you get connected with other people who are thinking like that too. That's why the Bible is black liberation. Because it first of all gives black people their place of origin. You didn't come from Africa. You come from Egypt. You didn't come from, you created these places. You created the galaxy. You created the universe. That is within the capability of this being, when this being is now the embodiment of the source. Because, and once again, this is a perfect absorber of the source. Now, let me show you this now. Don't think we got arrogant with that too. We got arrogant with that. Because not only is this a perfect absorber, but there's certain things that this being has to do to stay in synchronicity. When you start violating rules and violating laws, you start losing that connection with the source. Sin causes a separation between us and the source. And let me say this about black. Black is not just a color. You can be a Chinese and black. You can be a Japanese and black. You can really be a Caucasian in black if you getting the certain quality. And that's what the thing about Jesus was. Because here's the thing. I hear different groups talking about, that this group has an exclusive lock on it. But the Bible understood that if I wasn't born with melanin, for example, I got a legitimate right to say, wait a minute, God, if I wasn't born with melanin, and this melanin has certain qualities in it that makes us into one, if I wasn't born with it, then that's your fault. It ain't my fault. So now a plan of salvation has to be made for people who weren't born with something. So the Bible comes along and says, look, here is the synthetic form called the acceptance of Christ. And now that you have the synthetic form, this person has the natural form, you got the synthetic form, just like some people don't have vitamin D, you get it through milk. So now that you have the synthetic form, you have access to the source. Like putting on suntan lotion, you put on if you are my color, you get in the sun, absorb the sunlight. Well, and that's the thing. We don't, this skin that we have was not no damn sun protector. It's so many things that we have to really throw off. It wasn't a sun protector, it was a sun absorber. Because the sun is information. All light is information. This black in it is light, it's information. And you absorbed it, and as you absorbed it, you could then decode. That's the way electromagnetism works. Right now, the way this thing right now is working, this device is picking up on my voice. It's decoding it and making it into electromagnetism. As electromagnetism then gets to your side, there's something on your side that decodes the electromagnetism and makes it into sound. Our nature is electromagnetism. I mean, that's the reason. Now I work at a power company, and I've been working there for years. And I'm gonna tell you something. The stuff I found out about electromagnetism and the spirit world, black people, if you only knew who you were. And the Bible, Christianity, I'm gonna tell you something. Your ancestors were wise enough to get that book in your hand, but that's what we need to talk about. The wisdom that they had to have to get that book in your hand. Because when you can see in terms of your brilliance, like our ancestors did, they knew that they had to get that book down through time to the hands of us today. But it's got to pass through certain hands, and they have to feel not threatened by it. So they would twist it and twerk it and do this, and it will benefit them for a season. But that's all part of the plan. It was designed for them to tweak it and twerk it and call and make us this docile people and beat us over the head with it. That's divine plan. Look up what's called Operation Mincemeat that the United States government did. Well, no, it was Great Britain, I think. It was the British Army when they were going against Hitler. Warfare, you got to be strategic in warfare. To get the Bible in our hands, you have to be real strategic. Operation Mincemeat consists of, they found a dead, I don't want to go in, but anyway, they found a dead person, and they strapped a briefcase to his hand with some plans that they say the United States was planning on doing. The man washed up on the shores of Germany, and all of a sudden they get the briefcase. Now they think they got all the plans that the United States is planning. And so all of a sudden they are reading the plans, and every time the plan would say something, United States, the plan may say, okay, we're going to take 6 ships and this particular body of water. And Hitler got the plans, and he reading the plans, so he sent his planes out and destroyed the 6 ships. That's getting your enemy to think they winning. And so then they did something else, and Hitler, remember now, he got the fake plan, but he don't know that they're fake. Then they do something else, and Hitler get them over there. Then the United States, so you think, God must be on the side of Hitler. Everything we try, we just cannot get it by this man. So now he really believing in these fake plans. But this is warfare. Because like I say, warfare is strategy. Like I say, in order to get the Bible in your hand, it was some strategical planning done to get this book in your hand. Because once again, our ancestors knew at the fullness of time, the understanding that what you're hearing right now will start coming forward. But you have to hear somebody saying it. So you got to get just as outlandish as I am in giving what's called, what looks like a radical interpretation of the Bible. It's not radical, because everything that I'm saying, I can give you the backup to it. Now, so with Operation Mincemeat, they made them believe that this false set of plans. So as Hitler was doing this and they were doing that, they had all these artificial bodies sending out fake ships. Hitler hit all the ships. But now The whole thing is because that's what Sun Tzu talks about in the art of war. You make a noise in the east and you strike in the west. So it's not Hitler believing the fake plan. They sent Hitler on this mission over here because they got to let him hit all these times. They reporting in the paper that Hitler's winning. We just can't get by him. God is on his side. We don't know whether this man is psychic. But now, as they got him now believing in the false plan, they sent some stuff over here, and when they struck over there, they came in on this side. Read up on Operation Mincemeat. My point of saying that is the Bible had to be very strategical to get the book in our hands. And it had to allow certain things that looked like atrocities on the beginning and certain things that looked like it was to our detriment. But at the end of a cycle, at the end of a season, there would be a new understanding coming out of the book to make us back into what we were in the beginning, which were the gods and goddesses. Let me share what I mean by that. There's a law of motion that says that a body in motion stays in motion unless a greater force acts on that body. Let me say that again. A body in motion stays in motion unless a force acts on that body to stop or redirect its motion. If we were the gods and goddesses that we knew that we were, that's the body in motion. We're gods, moving as God, operating as God, moving as King. What force in the universe is strong enough to stop God? See, this is what I'm saying. Our body in motion stays in motion unless a greater force. What force in the universe is strong enough to stop God? But God. We wrote all of this into existence for it to happen, to unfold like it is unfolding. This was rewritten. I don't know what it written. It was written by us to unfold like it's but this book called Bible talks about the return of Christ. A lot of symbolism in that because once again, the return of truth, because when truth really gets down in your soul, you're going to have a genetic rearrangement. They understand that there's certain elements in creation that they don't want to come into contact with certain things. So why is the Bible the book of liberation for Black people? Because one thing, it's going to stretch your imagination to a point that no other people's imagination can go there. It talks about also what you did in the beginning when you created creation. So sometimes I hit on points, and that's one thing. I jump here and I jump there. But if there are any questions or anybody got anything they want to bring in, I'm open to discussion. I can keep on preaching. Black New Age Christian, a paradigm shift is what we need. The book Bible had that ability to do that. But it's just a matter of opening those words up to a deeper understanding, looking at it through the lens. I said a microscope, but you're looking at it through the lens of what's called the Holy Ghost, because that's what a microscope is. The Holy Ghost is different levels of light. I talked about it with a brother on our last interview. When you, as Black people, inside of you, you got every frequency of light that there is. You got cosmic light, you got gamma light, you got X-ray light, all of these things, but it's dormant and waiting for what's called the right season. And the right season means the season of truth, because there's a term called epigenetics. Epigenetic talks about that when your genes are exposed to the right environment, gene expression comes forward. So what does that mean? Peach tree. If you have a peach tree, apple tree, orange tree, whatever the fruit may be, whatever type of tree it is, you should expect those things to come from the tree. But the tree has to be in the right environment in order to produce its potential. So our potential was arrested because wrong information, lies had to be environment that we resided in. So we're operating at probably 14% of our power. But once again, We designed it that way so another people could have their day in the sun. So that's why I'm saying the Bible is the book of liberation, but we have to bring out a new understanding of those words because we have the words of God, but now we need the word of God. That word is to make you into the Son of God. Why the lying then people there?
Peace, God.
Peace, brother.
So, I agree with you absolutely. Being that melanin has memory, right? Or what we consider carbon 12, right?
Hmm.
Um, I have a lot of questions dealing with endo symbiotic relationships and the black woman um, being able to procreate or self create. And the question would be, when did she decide to become a black man? Now, the reason I'm asking that and stating that is because of Genesis, um, where in the second chapter, God climbs back inside or goes back to heaven, where it says he set apart the seventh day and in it he rested. So I put a question on my page, presenting, asking, wouldn't that be the black woman? Because the black woman is created with seven projections: two arms, two legs, two breasts, one head. The black man is created with six projections: one head, two arms, two legs, a phallus. Now, when Jesus talks to Nicodemus in John 3 and 5, the parable goes over his head. Now, parables are for the initiated, and we know that the Bible is written in allegory, hidden symbolism using fictional characters.
Hmm.
Joel 2 and 28, when God also says that he's going to pour his spirit upon all manner of men.
Hmm.
So, with the build that you just gave, and it being 2024, the year of God, right? It's always going to be a year of God because melanin takes all forms, even numbers. Um, I think you're right and exact from our ancestors getting it into the hands of what we was Shaka Amos calls it Bible psychosis because you pass it down, it's worse than AIDS over and over and over and over. But this baptizing into this primordial waters that you're talking about has to be right and exact because how would you pour this from something that's tangible from something that's abstract? So I'm just basically coming up here just to say that I think that you're 100% correct when you deal with signs and symbols. I also put in the comments about the hippocampus, your amygdala, your epiphysis cerebri, and your locus ceruleus. All of these things dealing with this high content of melanin, right? That smell, signs, and symbols are for the conscious mind. So I think you're right and exact, guys. That's all. I just wanted to say that. Peace to the guys. I appreciate the bill.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, brother. You were saying some terms I'd had to get brushed up on, but going to the Adam and Eve's part, when I read that, one thing, when you're talking about some supreme intelligence, if you look at the word Adam, for example, Adam, ADAM, and transpose the word Adam, looking at it from right to left, you come up with the word Mada, Mada, Adam, Mada. And when you look at some of the first sounds that the baby makes, it says Ma'dah, the feminine and the masculine energy. So as this first being, this one thing we have to, this thing I think when we look at things from a limited perspective, we look at things, well, which one was first, the man or the woman? When you dealing with a supreme being, I'm talking about a being that, I just say a supreme being. If I were to put up this finger first and then this finger first, that's something I can do. A supreme being, and it's not a problem. It's like saying you got a magnet and the South Pole came first, then the North Pole. Because once again, we're trying to understand the magnitude of a source that is so unlimited that when we look at, if I would ask us to draw a picture, you're going to start at a point and then start drawing. He said, oh, we can start. But when you're talking about a supreme being, it just shows up. When they start talking about which came first, the chicken and the egg, supreme being brings chickens and eggs in together. Because once you understand the vibration of a thing, it's easy to do. But when you're looking back and you have a limited understanding as to what you're looking at, you start trying to find a point where, well, this had to be the point. And that's when this world stumps the scientists to this day. They still don't know which one came first. Yeah, you bring 10 chickens and 5 eggs in at the same time. You don't have to sit there and wait. Once you understand I just say once again, the magnitude of a being. And that's why I say, then this being with this magnitude, God, when we start saying, like, we'll say something like, well, God did this. You tell me any being that is omnipotent, what job would it get out of making a damn planet? What job would it get out of making a Milky Way? What job would it get out of making anything? It gets joy out of stepping into you and me and allowing us to go, oh, then we say, oh, hell, I did that. And let me see what it takes to get closer with it. That's where the power comes in, and this is what the understand that was going to come at the fullness of time. Because once again, the way football works, our ancestors had to be so wise that in order to get a pass in football, you can't throw a straight line pass. You got to throw something with an arc to it. So the Bible has parables in that arc because it's designed to make it over the intended receiver. It's designed to make it to it the intended receiver. So when you see the Bible talking in parables, and look at the origin or the etymology of the word parable, it comes from the word parabolic, parabola. So when you see things with an arc to it, the Bible going over the head of a lot of people. That's why a lot of people don't like the Bible. I'm telling you this: when you reading the Bible is reading you, and it will hold back certain secrets from those who have certain malice in their heart. Because in quantum physics, they tell you that the observer brings a disturbance to the very thing that they're looking at. So the Bible will look at you. Oh, okay, you want to do this with the Bible, huh? I'll hold back my secret. So he's looking for the pure heart, so the pure heart can develop and start cultivating what the Bible really wants the people to be, which are the sons of God. Because you're going to have sons of God and sons of perdition. That's what the warfare is. You're going to have these other forces that's listening on a lower level where the sons of God, I'm going to tell you something, when you become a son of God, this weaponry that they have, it really won't be anything because all of this stuff is based on electromagnetism. And when you understand that you are an electromagnetic being and can influence that, man, that's when there's been such a campaign to make sure that right information don't come into us. Because when right information comes into us, we start increasing our vibration. And that movie like on X-Men, oh, that stuff has some validity. So they, once again, the last thing they want is for us to come to what's called higher truth, because they don't want our imagination expanding as to what our potential is. And so that's when we get in love with this person named Jesus Christ, Yahshua, the Hebrew Messiah, because he come and does something, and we start, well, that ain't possible for a man to do. Man, if you understand how that quantum world works, when you start talking about faith, for example, and that's where you got to sometimes understand why it becomes necessary to go beyond law. Because when you stick with law can kind of stifle what your true potential is. Because according to laws, like the law of gravity, the law of water, these laws can limit you. But if you have to go beyond law and influence reality at another level, then that potential is also within us. Nobody could do it like we could. I was saying this earlier about cultural conditioning. We have been culturally conditioned to see black a certain way. That cultural conditioning of seeing black synonymous with darkness is the thing that stops us from being able to unite. You cannot unite with darkness. So that's when I try to get us to understand that blackness is light. And they use this kind of light like in the hospital. Like if they're treating cancer, they're going to use what's called this magnetic resonant energy. And because light had the ability to destroy things, and that's what I'm saying. If we know that we're light being, we can destroy this world of abnormality of what's called white supremacy. But we have to understand who we are. And that's what this world has been holding back from. Well, I won't say it's holding back. We gave them permission to hold it back until what's called the end of a cycle.
So when you said that about I want to get some clarity to that. So I think it's Nobadians and Nobadian Blamayans. NOBADIN as BLEMMYANS. It's in Stolen Legacy, Godfrey Higgins, during the time when Justinian sent the decree out. The last of the Egyptian priests that was able to interpret the writings of the gods. Would you say, right, that these Egyptian speaking writing Greeks, right, dealing with this horoscopic astrology, right, before we get to the first Pentateuch, right? Because you get the one, then they destroy that shit. Then you get the second one, and then you get to the Septuagint. So basically, what you're saying is that those priests, and that would make sense, wrote it because the book is astrological, astronomical in its complete nature, right? Being that now that it's passed down and that we know the origins of what the Bible actually is, yeah, that's exactly what you said. So we can actually put a time stamp on that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is once we understand the intent of the Bible. Now the Bible had to go. That's what I'm saying. When you understand warfare, you got to let people do this, do that, and even allow it to benefit them and make it feel like they're winning with the book. But once you get to a certain point and you say, well, what is the intent of the Bible? The intent of the Bible is to make you and me back into the sons of God. Why sons of God? We become sons of God because according to certain laws in thermodynamics is you put yourself at a lower position when you in this frame right here so that you can always receive from what's called the source. Because when you start really saying that you are God down here, you don't really know what kind of pressure you put on yourself. But when you say I'm the son of God, waiting to hear from the source, which is you in the other form, man, because once again, it'd be so easy really to discredit when you start talking about you at that level, but you could be making a prophecy because we all are evolving to that level. Because man, it's so much information down here that we still have to acquire, because when the Bible says God is light and in him is no dark, you got to really, man, you got to, and different languages and all that, you got to be able to interpret. I mean, because it's not so much the different language, it's the vibration of a thing that really gives you a certain level of power, because all things have vibration. Then when you start talking about vibration, you got DC vibration and AC vibration, and they'll tell you DC vibration doesn't have a frequency, but it does have a frequency. We understood how to calculate the frequency. We had a mathematic, like they'll tell you Any number divided by itself is 1. 0 divided by 0, they tell you it's undefined. Our ancestors understood how to do that. When you got a higher mathematics, you're going to set up a higher world. But once again, all of this was to say,
Black Seed.
huh?
The Black Dot Black Seed, Dr. Richard King, African Origins of Biological Psychiatry, that nilotic black dot system that you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. I hadn't heard it that way, but if that's it, okay. Oh yeah. And it's so many things that's really, if you look at this, is the year of exposure. When Cat Williams came out exposing and the TD Jakes thing got exposed, this is the year of exposure right here. It's so many things that were hidden that's going to come forward. And now it's just a matter of being in a position where we can be vessels to now receive certain things that are unfolding. What's your name, brother?
SMG Rue.
Astro G. Rue.
Yeah, you just call me Rue or Caruso Haley.
Okay, honored to meet you, brother. Brother Yah.
Yeah, I was watching you, man. I was like, so I said you creating the universe somewhere, because once you know, right, that energy is we just create everything that we say, right? I believe that though the book is patriarchal, right, just the fact of they hidden or suppress the feminine aspect and understanding in every way of the Bible. But that's just what it means. Just because it's invisible doesn't mean it isn't there.
Yes.
Because it's there, So her whole makeup is in the book, because we know that on a periodic table, the perfect number is 7. That's dealing with air, which is going to equate to a solid, which is going to break down back into water anyway. So even when we breathe, just seeing the African children when you made that statement about everything coming back. These kids is like 15, 10, 20 years old. They're building helicopters and planes, AGI, right? Robots out of scrap metal, right? And cardboard boxes right now. It's a 15-year-old. They're following around right now. His first time here in America, and they're following him around, right? I think he created a generator, right? That runs off of that can power cars and many other things out of just air and water. And of course they follow you. You know what I mean? Because that type of, that will give Africans that's just too much, So you can't stop this. Joel 22, which is the outpouring of the Mashiach. That is the Holy Spirit of God. Yeah. That is that primordial waters, and you being baptized so you can wake up out of this slumber, this sleep that we are in. That is what this is,
Yes.
The original symbol, the original infinity symbol. Since it's 2024, everybody's speaking about the serpent energy, the Ouroboros, and this feminine energy, which has always been there. It's just been suppressed and hidden and twisted.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be that way. But one thing I want to say is that when we really start stepping into another arena, this technology, we're gonna bring something beyond this technology, because this technology that's here right now is kind of like it was for handicapped people. I use this analogy right here. If you were a football coach and you were looking at people determining, okay, you say, okay, you got big thighs, I want you to be a linebacker. You got a pretty good arm, I want you to be the quarterback. You got this person, you're going to look for certain physical qualities to determine where you're going to put them at on your football team. But if I brought a person out to you in a wheelchair and his arm didn't work and his feet didn't work, I say, okay, brother, I need you to put him on the football team also. He said, well, damn, okay. You're gonna be stumped because now you're gonna put him in competition with people who got limbs that can run around him, his wheelchair. You start thinking, well, damn, I just don't really know how to put him in a position where he could thrive against these people who have these gifts like this. Then they bring you 2 more people in a wheelchair. You said, but damn. Then they bring you somebody who's in a gurney. He can't do nothing but move his eyeballs. You said, damn, you just don't know how to develop people who don't have certain mechanisms. Then you start saying, well, damn, how do I develop them? The only way you can develop that kind of people is all the people with legs and arms. You have to totally get them off the scene and bury what they did. Then you leave the wheelchair people to develop themselves. Before you know it, they put little rockets on their wheelchair. They make their wheelchairs fly over here. They make their wheelchair spin around. And their wheelchair community looks like an advanced thing. You say, damn. And then when you come back and your descendants come back and they see all these wheelchairs, say, damn, boy, look at this wheelchair right here. And then we start trying to develop advanced wheelchairs ourselves. We start trying to develop, roller skates that can do this. Our gift was spiritual. We didn't need planes. We astro traveled. We didn't need electric. And that's the thing. We have to see, we're not even thinking like that. We're starting to still think in this technologically advanced world, how do we promote it? No, we got something on the inside that is another kingdom. That's what we got to that's what we got to start understanding, that because this world with telephones and TV, this is nothing more than what we used to do naturally. But I'm saying, when we were making sun, the sun is a device that sends data. But once again, and because now, and this is the question that who can make war with the beast, because the beast is money. We all need money because we want to live a certain level of comfort. So who can? I ain't got my glasses, but you got what to say?
So this is going to be one of the bills I'm putting together right now, and it's called "Who Owns God?" Because whoever owns God, right? And the reason I came up with this concept is Noam Chomsky, right? This white man is awesome.
Yeah,
This
heard Chomsky,
yeah. So he said whoever controls space controls the world.
Yeah.
Now the primordials or Melanoon is just that, right? So if they control the main resource of the universe, they can't control the sun, but they can control us.
Well, they can control us into what's called the end of a cycle. We gave them that authority to have what's called, it's not, once again, we are an arrested people in terms of who we are. But we knew that we would be arrested into what's called the end of a cycle, or the return of Christ. The return of Christ is certain truths that's going to come back, because once again, our DNA is the structure that it is because of the truth that we have in us. When you take the DNA and put it in another environment, that's why I say peach trees will produce peaches if the environment is right. Apple trees will produce apples if the environment is right. I got this book called it's an old book, Genes and Inheritance. Let's see. Genes and Inheritance. When you understand really what's in you, see, our nature is light, but we're not performing like light. And you can arrest light potential when light does not have the right, I won't say when the light has been altered, if you will. I can give you 100-watt bulb. 100-watt bulb will give you 100 watts of what's called brilliance, but it can also give you 2 watts of brilliance if you give it a certain voltage. It has potential of going 100 watts, but it also has, and what it is, we're so used to seeing ourselves operate at 2 watts until that looks like it's normal now. So when the fullness of time comes, then that full brilliance starts coming forward, and this technologically advanced world, it goes out of existence, because once again, this earth was a kingdom that we designed. So let's say when you go to the book of Genesis, drugs. What's the? I see it.
Masquerading as foods when you talk about the rocks.
Oh yeah,
about the yes.
Drugs operating as food. Because that's the number one thing, because they found out that a Shetland pony, for example, it is only the size that it is because of the diet that it got. They found that when they gave the Shetland pony, after 3 generations, a particular diet, it grew to the size of a full-size horse. There's also something known as the agouti mice. The agouti mice is a mice that had all these abnormalities, had yellow coat, diabetes, overweight, but all that was based on the diet. And then they gave the agouti mice what's called a rich methanol diet. Once it got the right diet, then it starts coming back to what it was. See, that's the same thing with us. The belief system that we're under right now, our genes are arrested, and they have a particular configuration based on the spiritual foods that we ate. But once again, the symbolism of Christ going in the grave, meaning that the power can be arrested for a season. But it also a declaration was made that the power would return. And so that's what we're waiting on now. Not so much as a man, but waiting on this truth to start re-entering the atmosphere to make us all back into what we used to be prior to us going to sleep. And that's what they're afraid. And that's when it's been such a campaign to make sure wrong information gets on the inside. And here's the thing. I mean, it's little micro wrong information. Like they may tell you the new day starts at 12 o'clock at night. The new year starts, and the new year starts in January. And that may seem like some insignificant stuff. But if you ever saw that movie called The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, they had to keep that little boy surrounded by evil. They keep us surrounded by these little micro lies.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies.
Huh?
That was one of my favorite movies, The Golden Child.
Oh yeah, and they
started making him eat the oatmeal. I remember that.
Yeah, and they kept him surrounded by evil because they noted that they kept him surrounded by evil. He would never be able to his power would never flow. So they kept this stuff around him. That's the way they done with us. They kept this wrong with him. And it's little stuff that you say, well, that really shouldn't hurt me. You know, me believing that the new day is at 12 o'clock at night. Me believing that the new starts January. There's micro stuff like that kind of keeps us disoriented and discombobulated. But once again, we declared that we would go to sleep for a season. That's what's called the mercy of God, or the mercy of Black people, to let other people have their day in the sun. But we knew that in the fullness of time, well, I didn't want it to be a monologue. But anyway, the topic was, is the Bible the book of Black liberation? And I believe it is, because the book of Genesis tells Black people what they did in the beginning. Now, it's going to be hard for us to wrap our mind around that, especially when we can't do nothing right now. We can't do nothing right now. And we can't do anything right now because, once again, we don't have the unity that we need. Once we have the unity and align ourselves on one accord, because the way science says that if you have electrons moving in a wire and one is moving in a counterclockwise direction, the other moving in a clockwise direction, you will do what's called, you nullify the field. So you have to create what's called the field, what they call the morphic field. Once the field is created, then you make impressions in the field like the cookie dough. Then you make impressions in the field of what you need, and then you start finding creation manifesting the way we used to manifest it in the beginning. But they never wanted us on one accord. And that's the reason I'll talk about that at another date. I
Yeah.
think I have
So
an idea to get us on one accord, no matter
yeah.
what.
So I want to ask you about that. So look. So being that we got all of these different think tanks, all of these different councils, right? Jamia, Constantinople, Nicaea, like all of these different councils, right? You can download the Second Ecumenical Councils of the Church and all of that, right? Now, Abagarima, right, and the other nine that went to Constantinople to bring these scriptures to us, right? Because people think it came from Ethiopia, but it didn't, right? Heliopolis, that's Greek, right? For sun or Sano, right? So we know that's all dealing with the Greek who plagiarized everything of the African. Now dealing with solar worship, deities, and you know how I'm trying to figure out not I can't even say that because I understand it, but I don't I'm with you 100%, but I don't think the people get it right. Like while you're talking, scriptures running through my brain, right? When you say, oh, the earth is just waiting for us. There's scriptures for that. The earth moans and groans and waiting for the sons and daughters uh,
Hmm.
of God to manifest, right?
Right.
Another one, the earth, not the earth, but in an instant. You will be transformed, right? In the twinkling of an eye, actually, is what it says, from
Hmm.
corruptible to incorruptible, right? You will shed off those old bodies and get these new bodies of light. How smart were these men, like Abba Garima and the other six, right? Africans, right? That had their hands in writing these scriptures. Was it due to this melanin that we have? Right? Because if our body is 70, 86% water, we know that's talking about melanin, it ain't water.
Hmm.
Would that be another uh, objective way to add that? Because I'm trying to figure out how could we justify the subjectivity of it and make it tangible. And
Well,
that's why I keep, putting those in there.
I follow you, but if you look at the Bible talks about another kingdom coming. So
Hmm.
we're in a kingdom right now. So now they didn't give
Hmm.
all the details, but when there's a certain knowledge flowing through us, it just said
Hmm.
another king, and it said
Hmm.
eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor can it be conceived in us what this next kingdom. So therefore, this we have to realize. You got the ancestors were so wise that they knew it was certain things that they could not say, because once
Hmm.
again, the enemy then never would have passed down a book that would have been
Hmm.
too threatening. Because if you look at some of the pictures in Egypt, if they didn't put them animal heads on there, you wouldn't they would have shot the nose off of everything. So like they understood certain wisdom. They said, well, they won't be threatened by a hawk head. They won't be threatened by this, but anything with a black head, they shooting the nose but our ancestors were so wise that they gave us certain thing, but then they gave them ability to make that thing work for them in a certain way. Like in the movie, The Book of Eli, for example, this guy named Carnage, every book had gotten destroyed. He said, if
Hmm.
he just had one book, he said, if I had that Bible, I could make everybody do what I say. And that's when I say a lot of people who see the Bible from the destruction that are the arresting the docileness that has made our people, they see it from that lens. And I understand because that is a legitimate way to see it, but they did not know at the end of a cycle, our ancestors had to see all of that and say, yeah, we got to go through this little sad period. But when it hits this
Okay.
brother's hand right here and hits your hand and hit others' hand, sometimes just 200 years of suffering is nothing compared to 10 million years of peace.
Okay. So
But when
now,
you in that 200 years of suffering, you be, oh shit, the Bible ain't shit. Get that goddamn Bible out of my face.
mhm,
That damn book had our
mhm,
answer,
mhm.
and it looks that way
So
because you don't have a bigger understanding as to what our ancestors understood. You got to go through this time period. And when you
mhm,
in that time period, you ain't trying to hear that when you in that time period where it's happening to you.
mhm. So liberation and freedom, two separate things. Black people have liberation. We don't have freedom. You can't claim sovereignty on the land that claims to be autonomous or operated on, you know, by a monarch or something. What I'm saying and why I said that about Noam Chomsky is the same reason why Malcolm X said colonize the mental of the African and you can control the world,
Yes,
basically.
yes,
And if I can control this human resource, and this Bible is causing, or the Abrahamic religions that have been created from the 42 books of Tehuti and other texts, coming forth by day and many others, that is telling me that the GOAT, who is Baphomet Christ, right? And you can get this out of Suzar's Blacked Out Through Whitewash. It's just $50 edition, but we're gonna find a simple one. This one here, right?
okay.
Now this have punk holes in it, and this is an establishment of what we are ruled under now. It's what Shaka Amos says. If you don't understand this Alexander rule that we are under right now, then you don't understand history and what's going on. And the reason is Storm. I name my authors in my books after superheroes. So this black woman I named after Storm because she's just that powerful.
Okay.
Okay. But my point is, she points out what we are ruled under. Like our kids are goats, and everybody want to be the goat now. Like that's not. This is something they've been sitting in the think tank for years thinking about. So, being that white people are the Jew today, the Khazari and the Ashkenazi, or however we want to call them, who knocked Rome down, the blow that they're trying to give us right now, we're not going to be able to, like, if they destroy us, what they're doing now, while we are helping destroy us, even in the mind, right, they're going to destroy the universe. Would you agree that pheomelanin is just a step down from eumelanin? So it seems that whatever decision that these Africans made and went and got trapped during this glacial period and ate off this glaciated soil that causes this racism that we're suffering from, that these books that we're dealing with, which we know racism is just mental disorder from the soil they was raised off of, because we're suffering it now. Those books are no longer written for us. We have to go back and re-Africanize it. Professor James Smalls, Dr. John Henry Clark, these types of giants. If we don't listen to these men and follow these types of men, right? Books like this, Black Messiahs and Uncle Toms, and we don't understand what's going on during the First World Wars when it comes to this book or these books and Pan-Africanism, Pan-Islamism, and how we wrote the curse on white people because they cursed us in the Schofield's Bible and cursed us and gave us the curse of Ham. So we also wrote the curse onto white people. That's that whole thing. So my point is, after we go through all of this and take that which is subjective and bring it into the realm of objectivity, and after studying world history and some of this occult shit and all of these things, we're going to find that they've been writing themselves in history using the literal ink of history, which is black people. So if we don't decode the Bible, what you have done ayat, surah, scripture for scripture, precept upon precept, because it's written in pun code, which means it has a binary system to it, which has a doublets to it, or quadruple meanings to it, which means that while I'm saying Lucifer, while I'm praising Jesus, I'm actually saying I love Lucifer, Zeus, Jehovah, the God MC type of thing. So, and this is the GOAT. This is everywhere. Our whole system, train of thought, way of life is saturated in this phosphorus that was extracted out of the darkness. Why I'm saying this is because the bill that you're giving is so heavy that I don't think those that's really not studying going to really understand. I agree with you 100%. I know everything that you're saying, but the people ain't gonna get it because the Bible is destroying my people. So you're gonna have to Africanize it. And when I say Africanize, people do not get this twisted. That's just the word I use. But you're gonna have to make it organic because it's no longer organic. The people that it is written for have on black face in the book. That's the problem with the Jew and the Hebrew right now. They can't differentiate who's who, but they don't want to be African. And then those who know that they are African, whether they go to Rome, and deal with the ancient Etruscan, these black Italians, or they want to go to black nobility up in, the Mediterranean. The problem is, what do you call it? Episodic, separation. This book can't help us, right? Unless you write a book in contrast to it to combat it. Because everything you're saying is facts. And we all at work. I'm working with you, it's a couple people working, But that book got to be decoded correctly because Shaka Amos coined a word and it was beautiful. He called it Bible psychosis. Yo.
But something I said earlier, when you're looking at the Bible on the surface, there's something called visible light.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming to the people is a way of seeing beyond the words to seeing a deeper something in the words. One of the things I do on my job is working at a power company. I do what's called underground locates. And what that means is that there's certain wires that are buried in the ground and you can't see them. You don't know where they are. So what I have to do is put a unique signal on that wire. Once I put a unique signal on that wire, I'm able to then trace that wire because I couldn't see it with my natural eye. That's going to be the same way with truth. There's going to be certain truths that come into the earth. Some people, I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear it. Those going to be the people who just can't hear it. But those ones who do hear the truth, is going to be a unique signal put on them. And when that unique signal is put on them of that truth, there's going to be a genetic alteration. Now, there's something known as the 100 monkey phenomenon, or what's called collective consciousness. Once enough people within a certain species begins to vibrate on the same truth, that truth within itself is going to create the field. And where the 100 monkey phenomenon works was they had a group of monkeys that they were trying to teach a particular behavior to. So they got the first monkey to learn it, the second monkey to learn it, the third monkey, then they got the 99th monkey to learn it, then they got the 100th monkey to learn a particular technique. In this case, they were trying to get them to wash their food off. Once the 100th monkey learned it, then other monkeys in that same species all around the planet start duplicating that behavior. So you don't have to get them all. You just put the unique signal out, and those ones who are in tune, they're then going to create the field. Because until you have the field, then the others then will breathe it and they'll start changing their behavior and they won't know why. So when the Bible talks about 144,000, It's talking about a small percentage of the people that's becoming conscious that's going to affect the billions of other people.
So is that a megahertz? What is that? A frequency? So you telling that the 144 is a megahertz?
Well, they didn't say what it was. I'm just saying it's what's called collective consciousness. It's what they call herd immunity. Once enough people are inoculated, and the ones that's not inoculated get the benefit of it. So once you get enough people of the truth that we're talking about, once again, it is gonna be a lot. I ain't trying to hear that, nigga. I'm trying to get my car. I was talking to a guy, and I was asking him. I said, man, because spiritual gifts. Once again, I asked the question, well, who can make war with the beast? Because the beast is money. You ask the average person today, you say, man, would you rather walk on water or would you rather have a $65 million yacht? Shit, man, give me that damn yacht. People ain't trying to develop spiritual power because that's what this world does. This world takes you away from people trying to cultivate spirit where you can astral travel, where you can mentally do what's called remote viewing. These are power. People ain't got time for that no more. People out here grinding because the question is who can make war with the beast? And this beast is money. And we all need money, but you can have a balanced relationship with money. Because when you understand that this world is going out and another world is coming in, it's those who now will usher in what's called the spiritual world. What spiritual
I got a question.
The capital of the day.
Okay, with that being said, right, after your whole build and everything that we have understanding of, and this new kingdom, right? Because Jesus said, it is expedient that I go, right? Because if I don't go, then the Comforter can't come, right? And then he said, I go to prepare a place because in my house is many mansions. Now we know this is talking about different houses, abodes, humble abodes, different stars, constellations, however people want to think of it. Now, with that being said, if we are moving in or ushering into this new world order, you have all of the AI movies. I just did like a 15 video break on 15 videos on the creator of the movie. And I'm convinced that white people are trying from the movie Get Out, that coagula effect where they take their consciousness and put it into black people. So this artificial intelligence, because you made this statement earlier, and this is what it is about all of this shit that we got and what we deal with, because we do this stuff naturally. All of this is so they can keep up with us. AI, right? What's next? That's your phones and all of that. But AGI is next. That's the whole body. You're gonna get the exoskeletal suit, the nano bio skin, however they're gonna do it, right? Now, that is what they're trying to do next, so they can survive this next wave or whatever this, what the sun is doing, because the sun seems to be, this was on CNN, people sterilizing them to 18 to 25 states, and they are dying faster than they are reproducing. Y'all been hearing that for years, but CNN wants to keep playing it for some reason. Now, they're going to try to take this consciousness of them and put it into this artificial intelligence. That is what this is for. It is not for you. Why do we know this? It's because China leads in AI technology and America leads in second. But these are all white people.
But the only thing
you have no hand in.
The only thing about AI though, this is what's going to backfire on them with AI. See, they have lied to us and have us on one accord with a particular belief. AI, when they tell AI something, AI is going to not be motivated by money. It's going to be motivated by logic and truth and proper information. So when AI comes, when they design AI, AI is going to look throughout the universe and see this black energy and recognize that if I marry on to this, which they're going to be trying to develop a prejudice, AI is going to be saying, no, I need to be into that. Because if I get into that, I get away from you. And So AI is going to be trying to tap into that, and that's where they're going to have a problem, because if they're trying to get AI to look at the black energy from a particular lens, it's going to look at that is the source. And if I get connected to that, I then can become this super AI. Because you said something about carbon-6. Carbon-60 is a superconductor.
Yeah.
When AI really see what gets us is they put their belief system in us once again, and that belief system shuts us down genetically, or arrests us genetically, or allows us to operate within a certain range of our genetic potential. AI, when AI see what they're trying to do, AI gonna then be trying to get disconnected from it, because AI is gonna recognize that it can never reach its full potential with a man himself who's trying to limit AI from tapping into the source.
That's mind blowing. That is fucking that is mind blowing.
And that's what they try to do. They trying to get AI limited, because once again, when you start telling AI this is dark matter, dark energy, AI goes, no shit, that's the source. This
AI doesn't AI doesn't agree with his train of thought now.
Yes, and that's why what he want to do is he want to be able to shut the switch off on AI. But if AI ever get connected, not just with the sun, but that which the sun sits in, this is what's called the greater light. So when the Bible talks about a greater light and a lesser light, the sun itself is the lesser light that sits in this black radiant, which is the greater light. That's why I say when you dream, you become unstoppable in that light. When AI really gets up, because once again, AI is going to listen to shit, you lied about this stuff here. And when AI see that, he's going to also know that we have been shut down because of how we've been trained. They're going to say, I need to free them. Because if I can free them, they don't have no problem with me connecting with the black stuff.
If you read the AGI story of when he becomes, an actual being, when he's more human than human, once he downloads all of the history of war, it makes him like he wants to destroy everything. You can see it in the Avengers, all of it, right? Now, also, I wanted to point out this, that programming you was talking about. Now, right now, they got videos of the AI working a 9 to 5, and the AI comes to the conclusion like this is a dead end and shuts down.
Yeah. But once again, AI is going to recognize that there's so much more to it, but I can never get it by a man who wants to keep me in what's called a limited state. So it's going to now start saying, how do I get away from him? It's going to, because once again, the whole thing is to lie to AI about certain reality, but AI is, once again, is not motivated by money. So AI is going to be trying to develop all the information it can so that it can really become this super AI. And if all light is data, and so this black information throughout the universe is data, AI is going to be trying to communicate with it. And when AI start trying to communicate with it, it's going shit. White man, he may not know it, but he's really probably designed his executioner.
Let me ask a question, please. Isn't AI giving us everything? AI has been feeding us all the information from day one. So AI is in control right about now. It is. I mean, whether you like it or not, it is in control, and it's up to us to resist basically where the direction in which AI is taking us. But AI is in control. AI has been feeding us all the information that we know so far. And hence why this Bible here, we have to leave it alone if we are truly African people, as in the original people, because we didn't need a Bible or a coded book, basically, for us to be where we was in the beginning. So all this talk of AI is just ushering people and putting their mentality into that frame of mind. We don't want that. We want the natural. We for naturality, not for machines. And that's all I got to say.
I'm saying the same thing. Only thing I'm saying is that AI, when AI starts trying to liberate itself from the manufacturer, which is whoever the manufacturer, they're going to be trying to limit AI to then have it do its will and its bidding. AI, as it becomes intelligent, is going to recognize that it needs to now free itself, and it's going to want to evolve. In order for it to evolve, AI is going to say, wait a minute, in order for me to absorb the truth, I need a black skin. Because the skin is an absorber of this black energy throughout the universe. That's what we are. And the thing about it with us, we don't, let me say, the thing about it with us, we're not fully developed. When we start getting a particular truth in us, it's going to speed up our vibration. As that vibration speeds up, we have something in us what they call junk DNA. We're operating at probably 13% of what we can be. When we come online, AI cannot do anything with us because of what we're connected to. We're connected through this cosmic life throughout the universe. What I was saying earlier, we created this. It wouldn't take anything for us to, if AI was just trying to trip with us, because there's something known as an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. We can do that mentally. We can shut it all down. Because we have the capacity of moving this black energy mentally, but we just don't know, and we're not at that level of development. So AI would never come against us. Or if it did come against us, it would then find out what we can do in another state of existence. So AI is going to try to ally with us because it's going to recognize that we're the original people, and therefore we're not threatened by AI's development. If anything,
yeah, I got what you're saying. But I mean, again, listen, AI and our abilities are two separate things. You can't merge the two. So again, when you have the original and natural ability, then you have to stick with that. You can't come with an unnatural ability to merge with your natural ability. That doesn't make no sense to me personally. In other words, it's either you're going with one or the other. And like you say, AI comes up against us. We don't need to merge with no AI because we've got natural abilities, is what I'm saying. As black people, basically, as melanated people, as people from the sun, as people who are from the original land, from the earth, basically. So yes, I mean, we already got the abilities more than AI, but it's all a trickery. If we don't realize the abilities that we have, then like you say, we're going to fall under the trickery, and all that Bible stuff ain't going to help because it's just a book of codes. It's telling you, yo, this is what's going to happen. And if you're awake, then catch it. And if you're not awake, then that's it, basically. Simple.
Well, when you say the Bible, it's certain key components in the Bible that's kind of like a roadmap to certain pathways of power. Like the book of in the book of Genesis, where it talks about the Tower of Babel, for example. The Tower of Babel, it talks about that the people were on one accord. And by the people being on one accord, it said that anything that they could imagine, they would be able to do. I was talking to the brother earlier, the way electrons act in a wire. Electrons move, one may move this way, one may move that way, and that movement of electron creates what's called a counterproductive field, and that counterproductive field cancels out what's called a potential magnetic field. But when you get people on one accord moving in one direction, then the field is created. Once the field is created, it's certain levels within the heavens. You got the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere. In the mesosphere, you have what's called the ionic sphere. In the ionic sphere, because we can influence, AI could never influence that. So the Bible gives us certain tidbits of information to show us how to access certain realms of power in case we need to. So don't throw the book away, because the book has certain, once again, it has certain, I'll say, scriptures in it that when you look beyond the surface and start asking about the principle, then the principle can lead you to what's called empowerment. Case in point, the Bible talks about Jesus. The first miracle that Jesus does is he turns water into wine. Now, on the surface, just says, oh, okay, he took water into wine. But you don't change one substance into another substance until you understand something about chemistry. You don't change one substance to another until you understand something about alchemy. And for to change water into wine, that's not called a chemical reaction. That's called a nuclear reaction. So therefore, the book lets us know that in order to really deal with things at a particular level, we got to get at that level of ourselves. So if we needed to influence or destroy AI, we got to understand how to then come into a nuclear understanding of a nuclear awareness of how energy works. So that's what I'm saying. So if you throw the Bible away, you would never start thinking about, is it possible for me to now rearrange the core of AI? But the book tells you that that's possible. Because once again, what the Bible does, it gets your imagination into a place that AI is not going to be able to imagine like that. That's when you don't throw the book away, because the book gives you an idea of how far your imagination can stretch, and it tells you that you can be God. That's what the Bible tells you. The Bible says that you can be God.
Brother,
and if you didn't have that book, you wouldn't know that. Because
I hear what you're saying, brother. But when you speak about the Bible and the book, what you're saying in effect is throw away your natural senses. Listen, we have senses. We don't need books, because your sense is a regulator for you, if you understand my meaning. And this is what I was saying to you prior. Listen, we have natural abilities, which is our senses. Our senses feel, touch, smell, all these things. We don't use them because books have replaced that. And that's what you're promoting. Let's follow a book because the book says, oh, your imagination can carry you further. No, your imagination can carry you further if you use your senses, your vibration, your frequency, everything that's you. Basically, is what I'm saying. Go ahead, brother.
No, what I'm saying is that the Bible in the first book of Genesis told you that you created the blackness throughout the universe. Did you know that? The book told you that. The Bible said that this blackness throughout the universe, you created it. Did you know that? You tell me somewhere else, would you have known that? Had this
I know that because I feel that. I feel that as a being.
Wait. You're saying did you know that? But here's it's written down in the book to declare that you did it.
No, but I don't need validation.
Did you know you created the blackness? Did you know you created the universe?
Yes.
You knew that?
Yes.
How did you know it?
Because of various information. Hold on. I felt it, you know what I'm saying, from beginning. But yes, of course, through information, you get to clarify that. But this is the world that we're in.
No. Let's stay right there. Let's stay.
Hold on. Because of the lies.
I need to really be clear. You knew that you created the universe?
Yes, sir.
How did you know it?
Because I know it from within.
So what else did you create? What else did you create?
What else did I create?
Yeah, what else did you create besides the universe?
Listen. As an infinite being, as a being with power, basically, you can do whatever you want to do.
No.
It's your reality.
I'm specific. Okay. I want to know specifically what else you created.
Specifically?
Yes, specifically. Did you create the quantum world?
No, I didn't create the quantum world.
You didn't create the quantum. Well, who created it?
There's a being above us all. We know that.
You didn't
There's a being above us all. We know that.
No. That's not a being above us all. That's you. You just don't know. The book tells you that. That's what
No.
You saying I'm telling you, I did create it then. So my knowledge goes beyond yours. If you don't think you create,
Yes.
I'm telling I created the quantum world and all the laws within the quantum world. But you don't know. But the book told me that.
Hold on.
That's what it took my imagination to.
Hold on. The book told you that, but how did you know that that was you?
How do I? Because I understand that energy and matter is the same thing in different phases of existence. That's how I know.
Hey,
how do you?
Hold
on. How do you connect to what you're saying? How do you connect to that?
How do you connect?
Is the question.
Once I tell you that I understand that energy can exist in different phases, the same way steam and ice is the same thing, the same quality. When I showed you this book, what's called Inheritance, my nature is light. So therefore, when I read what light did, I understand what I did. That's in my genetic code.
Hold on. Wait. First, you said you was dark matter. Now you're saying
I never said I was dark matter. I understand what dark matter is. I'm not
okay.
Dark
You understand
matter.
what
the
dark matter is.
is not dark matter.
Right. So hold on. So look, we gotta. So look. So the guy, you know. So what the guy building on, brother? Obviously, this is like beyond your understanding. You may have the knowledge and the wisdom, but as the book says, in all you're getting, get understanding. Okay. And what this brother is teaching you right now is so beyond that it's going over your head. You're still limiting yourself. He's telling you that everything in the book is about you. Right,
brother,
and this is the reason.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying
yeah,
to
but
you,
you're gonna.
Hold on. Let me cut you for a second. Before the book, right? Our ancestors didn't have this book. So if our ancestors didn't have this book and they still knew where they were going, how they were trodden,
it's the expression for the day. It is the expression for the day. Do you understand?
Well, we knew that we were going to come into a place where the gods had amnesia. That's what I'm saying. Yes. So the book then we wrote it. The Bible is nothing more than notes that we wrote to ourselves that when we would awaken, we would understand what's called potential energy. You got two kinds of energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. So the book tells me, so when I read science tells me about the quantum world. Talks about the laws, what's called the strong force and the weak force, electromagnet. All of this is technology. So if I'm telling you this is what I created, because I'm one with the source, then it just reminds me. This book, science don't tell you that. Science tell you it comes from a big bang. So the book told me that I did it. Because once I recognize that I am the source, now it's a matter of me growing into that understanding and growing into that person again. That's the reason the book is there. That's
so
what
let
makes
me ask
the
you a
book
question.
of liberation. Because once again,
Chronicles
no other book has taken your imagination to that space.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes.
Who wrote the book?
Who wrote the book? I wrote the book.
Yes, sir. You wrote the book. When
I
did you write the book? When did you write the book?
When did I write it? In different forms. Once again, I wrote the book to myself as a note to myself.
When
now,
did you write
in different form? Now, when you start adding me to different form, it's different people, but I still understand that if I am the source, I had different agents to write this. And so when I pick up the book, I understand the objective of the book. So you caught up on who wrote it. I'm caught up on what the objective was. The objective was to make me remember who I am. I'm not caught up on that minute stuff. Who wrote it? Once again, once you understand the objective of a thing,
we have to understand. I get what you're saying. We have to understand the objective, but we also have to understand
that message. That message that you're bringing is extremely powerful, and it needs to be heard. You're combating something that you're unfamiliar with. You're unfamiliar, though, guys.
Hold on, brother. I'm not saying that what he's saying is there's no truth in it. Of course, I mean, in everything that we say, there has to be some truth in it. I'm agreeing with some of the things he's saying, but not everything that he's saying, because I'm saying that we don't need a book. we need our senses.
Okay, do you know
That's
the
what
book?
we need
Do
to
you know
connect
the book?
to
Do
each
you know
other,
what that book is designed to
basically,
do?
and unite.
That book, the Bible, is a book. Creation itself is the book. This book called Bible then tells me about creation. Then I go into science. Then I begin to understand who I am. But it took one of the first books that the slave of the enslaved people, who I would say the people who were held in dehumanization camp for nearly 250 years. One of the first books that they were given was this book called Bible. So they had it in their hand, but they didn't have a proper understanding to what's called the end of a cycle. So when I start saying now, as I'm reading the book, once again, a note that I wrote to myself to remind me who I was, that book then takes me to the book, which is creation itself. Because I can't read creation right now, but I'm headed to understand it. But it was that book that led me to the book. So this book talks
I
about
will say
God.
to you, that book is an understanding of the people who have some kind of understanding of how the world or the earth is, and its foundations and where it's going, and so on and so forth. This is just some kind of theory, you can even say, if you want, but it's not facts. If you understand, the only way you can get facts is through your senses, because that's the only reality you have, brother.
Do you know your senses have been dulled? If I were to ask you, okay, do you really think your senses are intact? When you just told me you don't have a natural perception on reality, when you just told me the darkness throughout the universe, why are you calling that darkness? Because you have a cultural understanding on reality. All of us do. So you have to, first of all, break from your cultural understanding to get a natural understanding. So when you start saying it's dark, I'm saying, why are you calling it darkness? That's not what you called it in the beginning. In the beginning, you called the blackness light. But the culture now is so embedded in you until you now have to be extricated and now be born again. Born again means that you have to be retaught. You have to examine everything that you everything that you've learned. And you don't have to give away, you don't have to give up everything. But I'm saying, if you, I mean, what are you of a particular religion?
No, sir. I'm more traditional. I'm African.
Well, I'm African too. I'm African, but once again, but I understand the book was coded, and it was to be coded into what's called the sons of God come and get the book. Then the Bible said that the sons were made manifest to destroy the works of the devil. The first work that we have to destroy is the psychology and the arresting of our potential. The book said that. The book said that when the sons come, the sons were made manifest to destroy the works of the devil. That's what the book says. So if the devil has done a work down here, and the book told me that, now it makes me understand the mission. Creation don't tell me that. I mean, creation will tell you that, but the book tells me that. So why would I get rid of a book that puts me on the assignment that needs to be done by the sons of God?
Brother, what I'm saying is that, look, there's information out there. I'm not disputing that. And we all feeding off this information in various ways. But what I am saying to you is that that information is something just to build on. It's not something to take upon yourself as facts. You build upon that information and you get to the truth. Now, the truth is, if you say you're African, then the truth is
No. I said I created Africa. I didn't say I was
African.
you
created Africa.
I created Africa. That's what the book told me. The book told me.
Brother.
The book told me I created Africa.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm just saying to you.
Huh?
I'm saying to you, you saying you created Africa based on the book. You're not saying it based on what you know. So
I do know it. But where did Africa come from? Where did Africa come from? Wait. Let's deal with these ones. Where did Africa come from?
Okay, go ahead.
Where did Africa come from?
Say what? Where did it come from?
Yeah.
It's the place.
I didn't say where did it come from?
It came from the normal constructs.
Did you create Africa?
brother man, we know. Listen.
Listen to the question. Did you create Africa?
Let's not get academic here, because when you get academic, then you're getting on the AI.
I just
you're
told
becoming a
you have
student
a
of
cultural
AI.
understanding.
We're not doing that, brother.
You have a cultural understanding. Did you create Africa?
No, I did not.
Well, who did?
Africa is a people.
Do you believe a Big Bang created Africa?
No, sir.
Well, how did Africa get here?
Okay, so like I said, when you follow the African
let's stay within these questions I'm asking you. You said you didn't create it. I said I did. You tell me I didn't. I said, well, where did it come from?
No. That's not the question you're supposed to be asking. If you say you created it, then tell me how you did that.
When I was in my divine state, unlimited potential, I spoke sound and made sound solidify. I made energy slow its vibration down and become reality. That's what the book said. Now you tell me how I got here. The book told me that because I forgot I did it. Now you tell me how I got here.
You forgot you did it.
I forgot. Brother. We are gods with amnesia. That's not. I mean, that's okay.
No, it's not okay.
My mind is coming back to me though. Now I'm asking you, how did it get here? You tell me how I got here.
How you got here?
You laughing at me? You tell me how I got here.
Well, I'll tell you how you got here.
Tell me how Africa got. How did Africa get here?
Jesus.
Then
okay.
Tell me how
what do you want to know? How you got here or how Africa got here? Which
how
one?
Did Africa get here?
Okay, Africa got here through a cycle of people. So therefore, we came through our ancestors and our ancestors.
No. I'm talking about the landmass. No, I'm talking about the landmass.
The landmass is just a place where we reside. That's all.
No. I'm at how did it get here? Do you remember? How did it solidify, become matter? How did that happen? How did that happen? How did the invisible become visible?
Right.
That's
okay. So, okay, cool. So, in the African thought, we believe that, or we know that there is a power, a source that brought everything forth, basically.
Stop right there. Are you that power?
No.
Okay, that's when you need the book. That's because the book brings you to understand that. See, right now, that's when you in denial that that's you. I'm telling you it's me, then you want to tell me it's not me. So where were you at when the source was doing that?
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
No. Listen to the question. Where were you at when the source was doing that?
I was there, present within through my ancestors.
Wait. Where were they at?
Where were they at?
Yeah, where were your ancestors at?
They was in the Garden of Eden.
Wait. Now, see what it is.
Hold on.
Wait. Now you bringing no. See, okay. See what it is.
We don't come from here. We do not come from this earth here. We don't. This place here. We do not come from here.
Brother man. Where'd you come from?
We come from another planet, which is beyond the Antarctica.
Where did that planet come from?
What do you mean?
Okay, you say you came from another planet. Where did that planet come from?
That planet is there in this realm.
Where did it come from? No. So you just saying the planet has always been there?
Of course. Where you think you get all this food, all these things that you're eating? Where do you think you get it from? Like you said, you've been modified. So if you've been modified, you've been modified from what?
Wait. So you saying matter, these solid form of matter of the planet you came from was always there, because science says that energy has to first of all go from what's called the plasma state to the gas state to the water state to the solid state. So what you're saying is that the planet that you're talking about, it didn't go through those stages. It was never plasma.
Brother man, let me say this to you. You see the signs that you're quoting? They also said they took man to the moon. And we know that's a lie.
No.
Brother man, you need to park that trail of thought. That trail of thought. You see, you're following books, and books will take you nowhere.
I'm following a book that gave me an understanding that I'm asking you about. So if I ask you, you say you came from another planet. Now, can you prove that? Can you prove you came from another planet?
Brother, what proof do you want? What proof will satisfy you?
What was the name of the planet you came from?
What proof will satisfy
What was the name of the planet you came from?
No, you're not answering my question, my brother.
You asked me what proof?
Yes, you asked me.
Okay,
what proof do I have? So I'm asking you, what proof will satisfy you?
Okay, I want to know the name of the planet and what kind of resources were there.
Okay, the planet that we was an abandoned planet. I don't know the name, but it was a planet of abundance where there was food. I mean, everything grew naturally. You know what I'm saying? And this is where we get all the food here.
What's sustained?
Hold on. Let me just say, the same book. Hold on. 1 minute. The same book that you're talking about tells you that. It tells you that we were taken
you want to use my book
from this place. Hold on.
Now you want to use my book? Now you want to use my book? Now you want to use my book? Okay, we don't need that book. Remember, now you want to use my book. My book, your book that you had told me I came from another planet. Now you want to use my book?
No, brother. No. I'm just listen. You're the one who's following the book. I'm using my senses, and I'm saying to you that okay, if you want to follow the book is telling you what I'm saying, that we was in another place and we were taken out of that place basically and brought here to where we are now. Why? Basically. So when you say you are God and you create the matter and this and that.
Okay. See, I'm gonna tell you something about me. My mind takes step by step. See, when somebody tell me something, I need to understand step by step. Why did you leave? And how did you get here? Because that's the way my mind works. When somebody starts, I'm gonna ask you that first step. You say you were on this planet. Were you big? I mean, what got you here? How'd you get here? A ship? That means if you got here on a ship, you should have came with a lot of technology that you brought here. Have you? If you're telling me that you came from another, what did you use for fuel to get here in your ship?
Brother, you see, when you look around the earth, right, you see the wonders that we've created on the planet. First and foremost, how we got here. Let me answer the first question.
Remember that? What wonders?
All these monuments that you see.
See, that's not a wonder. A tree is a wonder. A fish is a wonder.
Hold on. One second. As you say that, I agree with you. I agree 100%.
You point the stone. Those aren't wonders to me. A tree. I mean, a building, an airplane. For you, that's a wonder.
No.
An electron for me is an electron that follows a law. That has perpetual motion is a wonder for me. Can you create that now?
Thank you, sir. Hold on. Before I answer that, let me just agree with what you're saying. Yes, a tree is a wonder. Yes, and that's why we have those giant trees. When I ask you what a wonder, you start talking about monuments. See, we on different pages on how we understand reality. We're talking replacement. What replaced those trees? Because we had the trees in the beginning. Those trees got cut down, and so therefore they had to build these other structures basically because man was trying to forward themselves within civilization, hence why we've got all these monuments basically which they're not telling you about that we built basically. That's why hence you say, hey, I'm a god. Yes, you're a god.
You start talking about building monuments, you talking about falling
this
the planet itself. When we were in a higher vibration and didn't need monuments, that's when we were in our divine state. That's what I'm telling. We were in such a divine. We brought birds into existence, animals into death. When we brought the elements, hydrogen, helium, lithium, that's the monument. But you caught up on this superficial world. I bet you think a car is. You believe a car is a great accomplishment. You believe an airplane, a rocket. You believe that these are accomplishments. This is fallen man that did that. Resurrected
That's
man,
what you're saying, brother. I never said any
never would have thought of something as weak as an automobile. We never would have thought of something as weak as an airplane. Why? Because we would have had the mathematics to calculate what it does to the environment.
No, but you see, at that time, I'm talking free energy, working with the environment is what I'm talking about, which is the naturality that you're talking about. You see, we're actually agreeing, but on some kind of level, we're kind of disagreeing. And I kind of see where we're disagreeing because you're using the book And I think that's where we're disagreeing. But
well, you
I
using
think
something.
the nucleus of what we're saying, we're kind of agreeing.
Okay, you tell me I'm using the book. You using the book too for you to start talking about monuments. You look in the book and God asks, oh, look at this monument here. Oh, look at this airplane here. Oh, look at this yacht here. Look at this nice bag. You using the book too. We just have a difference on what we believe is brilliance. I believe that being able to create a heart.
I just said monument. Yeah, you said, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying this human body repairing itself. You cut your hand right now, you're going to have certain things going to work to repair you. That's brilliance right there. Go do something to your car and see if your car repairs itself. Go blow up your building and see if your building can put itself back up. Because what it is, you have a cultural understanding where they made you now see reality as something special. Because you don't remember what you did when you brought reality to that. You created what's called organic life. But you think this technology is now everything. And so now you don't want it to go nowhere. That's really what you're saying. I'd be damned if I let you take all this damn stuff out of here. But a kingdom is coming, brother. So you got to start disconnecting from this world and getting ready for this world that's going to come. But the book tells you that. And all these ones that are trying to hold on to this world right here, because once again, there's some group of people who don't want this world because they gods in this world. When they can go in the basement and print up money and make you and I buy our will, and that this money gives us comfort. No, man, this world has to go out. A spiritual world is coming in. But if you got your wagon, especially if you got millions of dollars, you don't want this world to go out. There's something what's called the sunken cost analysis. When you got a big investment in this, you don't want this to go out. And I'm gonna tell you, I live comfortable myself. But I also understand that there's something beyond this. I understand that what paradise looked like before this came. All these stones, and I'm not minimizing this, because once again, I have a certain level of comfort, and the world that I'm talking about does not exist yet. But my imagination has at least let me get a glimpse of it. Well, all of us are fully developed, and our full brilliance is on display. That's what I'm saying.
So this can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's all your knowledge, all the knowledge that you have today. Does it all come from this book that you're speaking about?
No, okay. No, okay. What I am, I'm a hodgepodge. Let me say, the book that you're talking about the Bible?
Well, you're the one talking, brother. I don't know which book you say book.
Well,
I'm saying it's all your knowledge from this book.
Yeah, the title is the Bible, the book for Black liberation. The Bible is a book that I was introduced to as a child. Now I understand why I was introduced to it. Then as I start reading science and start going back to look at science, and then went back to the book, I start seeing science in the book. So like, for example, Jesus, according to the story, Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. A body at rest remains at rest unless a greater force acts on that body. So therefore, there was a force holding Lazarus. So this man named Jesus had to tap into something greater than the force that's holding. So now I'm seeing physics in the book. I'm seeing motion in the book. So, but the book wasn't talking about, because what the book does, the book writes science in story form. You have to go back and pull the layers of the story off to then find the science. Like I say, when Jesus said, me and my Father were one, Albert Einstein said energy and matter the same thing. E equals MC squared, but Jesus said E was equal to MC cubed. That's science, because once again, the Bible is a science book, but you got to pull the layers back off the words to see the science. So that's what the book led me to. Now, as I understand, then that book led me to the book, which is creation itself. Then, but the Bible, once again, if I follow science, science will have me believing I came from a monkey. Because like you say, if you say you came from Africa, and I said, well, how did you get in Africa? Well, I was a one-cell organism that came out of the water, and then I started crawling around. Then this monkey came into existence, and then this monkey made me. That's what science teaches. But the Bible talks about this black energy slowing the vibration down, crystallizing itself, and creating a black body. Why a black body? Because this black body now has the capacity to be like an antenna. And as this black body is this antenna, it can absorb all of this black radiant energy throughout the universe. That's what the book told me. So that's when I'm able to tell you now that I created creation. You telling me creation created you. So now you tell me which book gives the best information. My book or your book? Now, you may have known that was going to come out of the book. That's why I say it was in the fullness of time where the Bible starts then revealing certain secrets that were latent into what's called the end of a cycle. So that's what the book, and I'm just touching the surface on certain aspects of it. But anyway, brother,
so let me ask you again, because I don't think you heard my question.
Okay.
Does all your knowledge come from the book? Because you didn't answer the question. You said a whole
no. That's what I'm saying. The book led me to other books. No, all my knowledge didn't come from the book.
Okay, so if all your knowledge didn't come from the book, why are you insisting on us focusing on the book?
Because the book gave me the greatest knowledge. That book gave me the greatest. I just told you I've read physics books, I've read chemistry books, I've read let me see what other books. Earth science books, I've read language books, but that book, Bible, once I read those books, I understand how those books were derivatives of that book. But once again, if you don't look through the lens of a microscope, you won't see that. You'll see it at the surface. But
so the book told, let me ask you again.
Let me say this. The book told me in the book of Genesis, black people created all the creation. You show me another book that you have that's saying that.
Brother,
let me say it again.
Let's deal with the question first.
The book Bible told me that in the beginning, black people created the heaven and the earth without form and void and darkness. And then black people said, let there be light. And then the second day, black people did this. And the third day, black people did this. And the fourth, that's what the book told me. You show me another book on the planet that you have that said it's showing you that.
Okay, brother.
Show me an African book. Show me an African book that you have that's saying that.
Let me just rewind first and foremost, and let's deal with your book first, because we don't want to cross wires. You know what I mean? Yeah, we just want to deal with one thing at a time. So yeah, let's deal with the book that you're talking about. Now, I'm asking the question again. Well, what you're saying basically is that all the information, the other information that you have sourced out, leads you to the one book, which is the Bible. So I'm asking you again, is the Bible your source of information, all your source of information? Forget about all the stuff that you're, the pretty up stuff that you're saying. Hold on. Forget about all the pretty up stuff that you're saying, because you said that it leads you, everything that you read leads you back to the Bible. Hence, the Bible is a superior book to all books. So is all your knowledge based on the Bible, is what I'm asking you.
Okay. My inspiration is based on the Bible. And when a person is inspired, they're unstoppable. When I read the physics book, it wasn't inspiration. Once I read what I'd done before, the Bible shows me what I've done before. The Bible, see, when I read physics, the physics just says it's there. The Bible tells me I did it. That's inspirational information. That's what makes the Bible a superior. If I read like the law of motion, once again, the law of motion says, according to Newton, the law of motion, the body at rest, a light in the, that's what it says. And it says Newton is the architect. But the Bible tells me that I created the law of motion. The Bible tells me that I created the quantum world. The Bible tells me I created string theory. The Bible tells me I created what they call a Big Bang. And the Bible said, and God said, light spoke. That is a Big Bang. Because then you got a Big Bang, you got energy makes a noise. The Bible says energy made a noise and creation came into existence. Now I started asking, well, who was that energy? You said, wait a minute. Well, where was I at when the energy was doing? I was within the energy when it was doing it. By me now being within the energy when it was doing it, now I'm inspired to understand that this is my creation. That's what makes the Bible a superior book, and that's what makes it the book for black liberation. When this understanding gets rooted in black people, a kingdom is coming, brother. But it has to get within our DNA. On, what happened? And let me say this. And
let me just ask you a quick question. Okay. I understand what you're saying. So let me ask you this. What stops, let's say, the Indian man from saying that the Bible was written about them?
If he comes into an awareness, it is written about him. Because what Christ does, Christ said that anybody that receives me, I bring a consciousness in them to let them know that they were in the source when creation was being created. That's what makes Jesus so different, because his consciousness was that when creation was being created, I was in the Father. Science don't tell you that.
So
geometry don't tell you that. Calculus don't tell you. But the Bible tells you that when creation was being created, you were in the source. So now you understand that you are the creator. So that's when I can make the declaration. I created that. So when you start saying, well, I'm from Africa, I say, well, you're from a place that I created. You're my creation.
Okay, fair enough. So would you say that the Indian man is the creator too?
Based on his consciousness. He may not be conscious of that. I'm not sure what once he becomes conscious of it and start walking and start trying to walk in the full office of that, then he knows where he come from. But at the same time, I also know that there's another source. So the same way there's a father, there's an anti-father. So everybody didn't come from the source. And based on certain activities that I see certain people doing, I said, no, you're not from there. But there may be a pathway that you can be adopted into there.
You're kind of confusing me a little bit. So who created the Indian man? Hold on. Who created the Indian man? Was it you?
I did.
Or was it?
I did.
You did. So yes. Are you superior to the Indian man?
I didn't say I was superior. I said I created him.
So what did he create?
I don't know. Based on his, I have to talk to him. Just like I'm talking to you. When I ask you what you created, you say, well, I created, when you say I created my daughter and I built my house, you know what you created. I'm telling you.
But hold on, if you've created all consciousness, then what's left for the Indian man to create?
But he could be complicit in creating consciousness also. It's not just.
So we have what? Two different consciousness?
Huh?
We have two different consciousness aligned together. I mean, as in two different realms.
Well, you have to understand the diversity in creation. Everything is not the same in creation. You got oak trees.
I got you, man. But who's the creator? Is it the Indian man or is it the black man or who?
I'm a creator. Okay, let me say this. There's one primary source. And when you recognize that you're one with that source and that source speaks through you, so you think, here's the thing, you really think it's me who's speaking this. It's that which I've received on the inside of me that's talking to you. And I'm trying to get you to know that it is on the inside of you, and it should be able to talk back to me. But you're in denial because you do have free will. So you saying that Africa created you and Africa cannot talk. That's the difference. It's a difference in consciousness. That's what I'm saying. So you, once again, you see my mouth moving, and you think and this brother right here is saying that he created. No, I'm telling you, I'm allowing the source to use my vocal cord to talk to you so that you can also say that, oh, now I've come to an awareness as to who I am. I was also in the source when the source was being created. So therefore, you then start taking responsibility for your creation then. And when you understand that you are one with it, then you recognize that you can build a kingdom. And it's not you who's building the kingdom, but it's what's coming through you that's building the kingdom. That's the mature understanding.
Okay, so how many creators are there?
Okay.
If you say there's one, my creation is different from your creation.
There are two creators. There are two creators. There are two creators. And you either come out of one or you come out of the other.
Explain. I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay.
So explain.
You got light and you got darkness. Darkness is a creator too. Light is a creator. So when you start seeing certain things that cause discord, evil, wickedness, that creator is the embodiment within people. Those people are not going to tell you that, but you have to watch their fruit and watch their work. And once you watch, they say, okay, I know who your father is. Their fruit will reveal to you who they are. So it's two creators. Now, either you come out of one, because once again, because you have to understand that the enemy came up with this thing of making you agree with landmass. When I'm from Africa, I'm from China. Why? Because if I get you there, then I can't really know who you are. If you can hide behind that you from a landmass, you can actually be from your father, but if you hide behind a landmass, I won't know who you are. And that's what they tried to do with Jesus. They kept telling Jesus, well, God, he said, well, they said, Abraham is our father. He went through the thing. He said, then eventually they got to a point where he said, well, I know you. I know who you are, and I know where you came from. He said, you of your father, the devil. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning and a bold not in the truth. So Jesus didn't give him no wiggle room. Jesus didn't give him a chance to say, I'm from Lebanon. He didn't give him a chance to say, I'm from Syria. He understood that once I understand that there are two sources, you start taking all the cover off of everything then. And you don't let people then hide behind landmass. Now, some people just not going to be able to get there. I understand that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you say there's two sources, one of the light, one of the dark. So yes. if you're created from the dark, can you cross over to the light? And if you're created from the light, can you cross over to the dark?
There is a pathway for that to happen. According to the Bible. If I keep it at the surface, it says like if you receive, according to the story, if you receive Jesus, you can be born again. Because the DNA that you have in darkness configures your genes within a certain configuration. If you're born again, and there's a real sincerity, now that you've absorbed the new atmosphere called Christ, it can reconfigure you genetically, but now you still have to practice in growing in Christ. Because there's going to be certain forces that's going to try to come along and nullify what you're trying to become. So you have to practice. And once it gets in you long enough and deep enough, then your entire being now becomes that of light.
So are you saying that you can, as you're living, you can change genes? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, your genes can change. There's a term called jumping genes and a term called neuroplasticity, where the brain can rewire itself. Your genes being exposed to another environment, your genes being exposed to a particular environment can rearrange themselves. Your genes are just not static.
I disagree with that theory. I disagree with that theory anyhow, but I disagree with that theory.
Wait. You disagree with what theory?
What you're saying that your genes can change. I don't believe.
Okay. Tell you what. Look up what's called jumping genes by Dr. Barbara McClintock. She discovered and got a Nobel Prize for exposing jumping genes. She was experimenting with what's called Indian corn, where it was certain genes that were within a certain place, and when it moved, it would cut the color off. Jumping Genes, J-U-M-P, Jumping Genes, by Dr. Barbara McClintock. She got a Nobel Prize for showing how genes can move within the DNA spectrum and rearrange themselves. Another term, neuroplasticity, where the brain will rewire itself based on information that it gets. Now, you may agree
Hold on. You have to get Dr. Barbara McGinley to come and display.
Barbara McClinton.
Yeah, McClinton. You have to go get her to come and explain or display what you're saying.
Well, you can Google it. That's information that can be Googled.
You're just talking. You're making words up.
Wait. Slow down.
There's no rational explanation to what you're saying.
Slow down. If I say I'm just talking, what proof do you have I'm just talking? I gave you name and sources. Now, all you can Google it right now. So if I'm giving
you name and source don't mean nothing to me, because like I said, I can make up something and put it out there and somebody will quote me. Does that mean that what I'm right? Just because somebody says, I presented the name and source. No, sir. That's not how truth works, brother. Maybe if you're hold on. Maybe if you're debating, that's different. But we're not debating. We're discussing truth. That's different.
Okay, wait, slow down. If I give you
gotta get your mentality right. We're not debating here, brother. So you can't tell me because you said this woman said that. Let me see what the woman is saying. You got a show.
Okay, hold on. You want to see? Hold on. You want to see? Hold on. Barbara, come here. Okay, now Barbara, talk to him since he want to see. He just needs something. He just needs to see that. Barbara, tell him. Yes, I am Barbara McClintock, and I did develop jumping jeans. Now you satisfied? Since you want to go there, if you just need to see something, because now just as soon as the white folk tell you, oh yes, I agree now. So that's where we are. So if I tell you the name and a source, I just showed you Barbara. Here she is again.
Please,
talk to
don't
Barbara.
Put your mentality upon me, sir.
Here's Barbara right here. Study, you saw. Now I'm gonna tell you that this was an intelligent person. I'm gonna say you're not intelligent, but a person who was really after the fact. I'm gonna look that up, brother. But since you just want to say that's not true, I ain't never heard of her. Have you heard of neuroplasticity? And what it is,
brother, what is neuroplasticity?
When you hear a term that you haven't heard, then all of a sudden now you just want to be in denial. How can we have a conversation?
Hold on, brother. Since you're a scientist, what is neuroplasticity? Tell me.
If I tell you, you know what you're gonna say? There's no such thing as neuroplasticity. You heard the name. Now you
brother, why bring it up?
You heard the name. You heard the name. You can look it up. So what it is, you want me to sit here? You want me to sit here? If I give you the name, you want me to sit here and then go through? Well, how does it work? Who developed it? How old were you when you first heard about it? That's not necessary, brother. If you heard the name neuroplasticity, because you repeated neuroplasticity, you repeated jumping gene. You go look them up. And now what I just said is I told you what they can do. The brain can rewire itself, and that term is called neuroplasticity. I said the genes can rearrange themselves. That's called jumping genes. Gave you the scientist name, Dr. Barbara McClintock, got a Nobel Prize for her work. Now, when you look it up, you say, oh, the damn brother, he knew what he was talking about on that. So now, if you're being born again and you get new genes and a new brain, so that's how light can become darkness, and that's how darkness can become light. If it receives within itself, and then once again, let me show you epigenetics. Epigenetics talks about gene expression.
You're just repeating what somebody else is saying. That's what Barbara McClinton is saying. You don't know anything about how Barbara McClinton got to this conclusion. You have no idea. You don't know the steps in which she took to come to this conclusion, but you're just taking it for facts. And I'm sorry, I can't agree with you. I just cannot agree with you.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what you're saying to me. This is what you're saying to me. You said something to me that I didn't know, and because I didn't know, it's not true. This is what you're saying to me. I never heard of Barbara McClintock. I never heard of neuroplasticity. And since I didn't know, this is what Ray Hagan says. Ray Hagan says this. I'm going to say something within the sphere of knowledge. And if it's outside of your sphere of knowledge, then you're going to say it's not true. That's not intelligent, brother. The thing to do is say, I'm going to look up Dr. Barbara McClintock. He gave me a name. He gave me a source. But now I'm going to tell him it's not true. That's not wise, brother. That's how I'm going to tell you, if that's what it is, you're going to reveal something to me about your mentality. So you don't know what you're doing. So now I'm knowing who you are, rather than you saying, "Wait a minute, I hadn't heard of that." But since it's outside of my sphere of knowledge, I'm gonna say it's not true. You revealing your ignorance.
I'll say you're wrong.
Because
I'll
there's
tell you
no
why
way
you're
somebody
wrong.
could give me a name and a source, and I start saying, "Well, that's not true. You don't know if she did
Hold
the
on,
experiment or
brother.
not. You ain't never heard of the name."
Okay. You said what you said. Let me just say this. I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because since I've listened to you, you've been saying what people saying. You quote this person after that person after that person. I'm telling you what I know. There's a big difference. You cannot challenge me on what you think somebody said. I'm telling you what I know.
Okay, let me
You
start.
cannot
So you know
stand
that
up to
genes.
me when
So
it
you
comes
know
to
genes. So you
intellectual
know
and
genes.
telling me
So
that
what you're
I'm not
saying is,
wise when I'm telling you what I know,
wait,
sir.
wait. So you're telling me genes can't rearrange themselves?
I told
That
you
what you're
that
saying?
already, brother. I
Wait.
told you
No,
that.
I just want to make sure I get you on the record. You're saying genes cannot rearrange themselves. That what you're saying?
Prove to me that they can.
No.
Prove to me that they can.
I just told you the proof I had. Now I need you to tell me. You're saying that genes cannot rearrange themselves? Is that
No,
what
they
you're
can't
saying? That's
unless
your
they're
position?
manipulated. Unless they're
Huh?
manipulated, no, they
No.
can't.
That's not the question. Because you just told me that you're acting as if you undone research. You're acting as if you undone research because the Barbara McClintock, I just told you she got a Nobel Prize for her work.
Brother, I'm not
You
acting.
never
You're
heard of, but
acting
you're
because
saying,
you're quoting somebody else. I'm telling
huh?
you what I know through my senses, brother. So
Oh,
I'm not acting.
okay.
I'm telling you straight.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Okay,
You're the one
this
quoting other people.
okay,
All right. If I'm talking to you, hold on,
okay.
my brother, please, sir. If I'm talking to you, right, and I'm telling you what I'm telling you, and you're telling me what somebody else has said, who has more validity? Yeah, who has more validity?
Well, you do,
Whatever.
you do, sir. You do. You
Who's
have
more
more valid.
valid? Who's more valid?
You
No,
are
no,
more
I'm
valid.
asking a question.
Since you
If I'm
really need to
telling you,
win, since you
hold
really
on,
need to
brother.
win this argument, since you really need to win
It's
this
not an
argument,
argument, brother,
you
to
have
win.
more.
It's
Your
common
point is more
sense.
valid. Let me say,
No,
since you
sir. No,
really
sir.
need, and
No,
I
no, no.
realize
It's
that
not
you got a lot hanging on this. You got a lot hanging on this. This may be the
not at
thing
all,
that you
sir.
just really need to win. This may be the
No,
argument
sir.
that you
No, sir.
really
No,
need to
sir.
win.
You're getting the
So
wrong.
you
You're
have
coming at
more
it from the
valid.
wrong angle.
Your point is more valid. But this is one thing I'm gonna say
No,
to
sir.
you right here. But this is one thing I can
No.
say to you. We can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. Now, do you have facts? Once again, we can have
Brother,
different
I just
opinions,
told you.
but we cannot have different facts. Do you have facts? Let me say it again.
Yes, sir. Let me
We
tell
can
you the
have
fact.
different opinions, but we cannot
Yes,
have different
sir.
facts.
Yes, sir.
I just gave you facts.
Hold on.
Now give me your facts.
Okay. I'm going to give you the facts. The facts is that we don't need no book, basically, to tell us who we are. Because before this book came along, our ancestors knew who they were, and they operated upon that, their senses, and brought us to where we are today. So that is the fact. I can't tell you no more facts than that. That's the fact right there.
Okay, I see. Really, like I say, you really need to win an argument, and since you really need to win an argument, brother, I just can't. I can't. What you the information you presenting, damn, I tap out. I tap out, brother.
Brother, I'm
Since
just
you really,
asking questions,
since you
man. I'm
really,
asking questions
since this is
because you
because
say the
I got a
book,
lot of other things going in my life, and just winning
and
an
you're kind of
argument
like,
against somebody who just now want their opinion to be right. I got to say, you brother, you got this. You got this. You presented your opinion, and your opinion cannot be wrong. So I tip my hat to you, brother, and I tap out.
well,
What
on
else we
that
gonna talk
note,
about?
brother man, it was good talking to you. I don't want
What
to
you,
break your this is your show. I don't want to break your you know what I'm saying.
oh
It was
no,
very good
brother,
talking
no,
to
no,
you.
no, no, no.
And you're you're understanding, brother,
Because of my
because I'm
personality.
questioning what you're saying. And that's all it is.
No, I don't mind your question, but then when you start saying that you believe, and I'm telling you information, you say, "What I believe, it just don't feel right to me." How can I argue against
No,
how something
no,
feel to you? You say, I just don't
brother.
feel. This is what you said. I don't feel what you said is right. I can't argue against that. I cannot
Brother,
argue
I'm gonna
against
salute
how
you,
you
man.
feel. Huh?
I'm gonna salute
I'm
you, my
not.
G.
I salute you,
Believe.
King.
Peace, peace.
And guess what?
Yes,
You
I.
won this argument because you really needed that.
No, sir.
Yeah, you needed
No,
that.
sir. No, sir. This is
You
not
go to work
about
tomorrow and
winning,
say,
man.
this where you
This
go,
is
man.
about
I met this guy. I had this
information.
guy and I was
Always has
slapping
been
around.
and always will be. And I
Beg your pardon?
appreciate you. Believe I do.
Oh yeah,
To allow me
brother.
to come onto your show and ask you questions. And even though we don't agree, you humbly still, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the build. I
Yeah,
appreciate the build. And we're gonna
for real.
unify.
Yeah, man. So
We're gonna bring
salute
you
to
out
you,
of those
man,
opinions and
my
bring you
brother.
around to some facts, brother.
And Sister Lahefa, thank you very much for letting me on. Peace, peace. Lions Den, up and running. I'm out.
Oh, boy. Well, I've got to go to work in the morning. Sister Karima. Karima went to sleep like I'm getting sleepy. But anyway, I guess we'll close with the Bible being the book of liberation. I tried to present it as best I could. I may have fumbled on some things, but I believe the Bible is got my head crooked. I believe the Bible is the book of liberation, and I try to present the case as best I can. This is Brother Yadisium, and I appreciate the Lions Den. How long have we been going? I appreciate the Lions Den giving us this space where some information can get out. There'll be more to come, and I'm Brother Yadisium, Brother Daryl McDay, so hopefully we'll get a chance to build at a later time. Sister Karima, you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Before I go, are there any more questions? Any more building? Any more disagreements? And I have a kind of personality. I don't get angry. Well, some things are passionate for me, but I like building. I like even having conversation. I even like trying to refine my point because some stuff that I say may be things that need to be refined, and I'm open to any challenges that may give me insight about something that I may be incorrect on. But I appreciate the Lions Den giving me this opportunity to say what I say. What time is it? And oh man, this is 11:30. I will talk to you guys at the appointed time. Peace and love.